Welcome everybody to Austin, where tonight the Texas Longhorns host the Baylor Bears. Last week the Longhorns were blown out by Oklahoma, a loss that has Mack Brown taking heat and has the Longhorn faithful wondering if they're in for another season of relative mediocrity. The good news for Texas tonight is that quarterback David Ash is healthy and will start. The bad news is their porous defense has to face the nation's top-ranked passing attack led by Nick Florence, whose Baylor Bears are looking to do something they've never done in the 111-year history of this rivalry: beat the Longhorns for the third year in a row. Welcome everybody to ABC Saturday Night Football, presented by Windows 8. Tonight from Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium, the 102nd meeting all time between Baylor and Texas in a rivalry that dates back to 1901. Good evening everybody and welcome. Sean McDonough along with Chris Spielman will be joined shortly by Quint Kesenick. Delighted to have you with us. These two teams have a lot in common. They both arrive here in a foul mood. They've each lost the last two. Last week's losses for both teams, described by their coaching staffs, as embarrassing and humiliating. That was particularly the case for Texas. They got blown out in Dallas by Oklahoma, and a lot of problems have popped up for the Horns.
Yeah, they're easy to identify. Let's look at the offense first, Sean. The offensive line got manhandled physically. They couldn't push anybody to run the football. They couldn't pass protect. Now, the one thing to look for in this offense tonight, David Ash is healthy. I look for him to throw the ball down the field. Defense, it's simple. Missed tackles, at least 16 last week. Missed assignments. Mental errors are killing Texas's defense. And the one thing that was a little surprising, Kenny Vaccaro, the starting safety, called out his teammates in their efforts. So we'll see if that's corrected tonight.
One of the biggest things these two teams have in common is the defense, both woeful, among the very worst in the country. But the good news for Baylor, once again this year, they have a terrific passing attack right now, #1 in the nation. No more RG3, but Nick Florence has done well.
And Nick's doing a good job through 4 picks last week. Now, when you have the last defense, total defense, ranked number 120, you cannot turn the ball over. I'm anxious to see if he plays cautious or he plays with that gunslinger mentality and the confidence that he needs. Also, Jared Salubi, Art Briles told us this week they want to get back to running the football.
Florence and the Bears will likely have to outscore the Longhorns in a shootout, as the Baylor Bears are last in the country in total defense. Kickoff from Austin right after this. Buddy to Austin, Texas, as the Nissan pregame shift continues and the Texas Longhorns take the field for a crowd in the neighborhood of 100,000 on a beautiful night in Austin with the temperature in the mid-80s under clear skies. This has been the Nissan pregame shift. Kickoff from Austin is coming up next, and now a look inside Nissan's Heisman House.
Football on ABC, brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mas.
These two schools separated by only 90 miles, Baylor and Texas. They first met in 1901. Baylor's won the last two, including last year in Waco, the end of the regular season, really the game that cemented the Heisman Trophy for Robert Griffin III. They've never beaten Texas 3 straight. Down on the field, here's Quint Kesnick with Mac Brown.
Coach, how has your team reacted to the back-to-back losses?
We've had a great week's practice and should be really well prepared for tonight.
What type of improvements do you hope to see on defense?
Need to tackle the run, keep the big play in front of us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Sean.
Austin Paper today said Mac Brown's on the hottest seat he's ever been on in his 15 years here at Texas, playing without some key players today, including Jordan Hicks, the linebacker. That's been a big blow to the defense. Not only is he a good linebacker, but he was the signal caller and the man who got them lined up. Texas won the toss and elected to take the ball. Usually Mac Brown defers, but he wants his offense on the field first. Aaron Jones kickoff down to DJ Moore, and he got blasted as he crossed the 15-yard line. Jamal Palmer, Brody Trahan in on the tackle for the Baylor Bears. So here comes David Ash, who grew up between Waco and Austin in Belton, Texas. About 40 miles from Waco, was recruited by the Baylor Bears, but elected to go to Texas. Having an excellent year. That 72% completion percentage is 4th best in the country. But like Florence of Baylor, he had his worst outing of the season last week in their 63-21 loss in Dallas to Oklahoma. They start on the run with the Jay Johnson. He may go. The true freshman, the Jay Johnson, 84 yards. Mac Brown wanted the offense out there first with these two terrible defenses going head-to-head, and that move certainly paid off quickly. Well, the importance, Chris, of this start for both teams, for Texas, the natives restless. If it started poorly, the home crowd might have turned ugly early. And for Baylor, trying to find itself defensively, the absolute worst way to start. The extra point up and good by Anthony Farah.
It starts with the offensive line, and take a look at MJ McFarland, number 85. Watch him set the edge. He's going to cut off the pursuit in the angle of the outside linebacker, number 6, Ahmad Dixon. That gives the Jay Johnson the edge, and you see speed. One thing Baylor lacks in the back end is speed. One thing Texas has with their skilled people is speed. What a start. This is what they wanted. Brian Harsin talked about we need to get back, we need to get physical, we need to get the running game going. How about that? I would say that's a strong statement.
Johnson, a true freshman from Pflugerville, Texas. An electrifying start from the Longhorns, just 17 seconds into the game. An 84-yard touchdown run, longest play of his brief career. Undoubtedly a quick sigh of relief for Mac Brown, although the way his defense has played, it wouldn't shock many if Baylor responded quickly. Nick Rose will kick off. True freshman, tends to hang them very high. Darrell Stoneham, Antoine Goodley back to receive for Baylor, and Goodley won't try to run it out. Well, here come the Bears, leading passing team in the country at just under 400 yards per game. 375 per game for Nick Florence, 4th-year senior from Garland, Texas. 4 of those 9 interceptions were last week in their home loss to TCU.
Talked to Art Briles last week. Was the first time really Nick Florence played like a first-year starter, making some rookie mistakes.
Well, he's been around for a while, and he did start back in 2009 for part of the year when Robert Griffin III was hurt. Art Briles said we tended to think he was really more experienced than he is. They've gone back to coaching some of the basics, particularly decision-making. Blake Seastrunk took the pass. Might have actually been a lateral, and it's a 4-yard gain. And there's Art Briles in his 5th year at Baylor, led them to a school record 10 wins last year. They'll play about as quickly as any team in the country, and Seastrunk dropped for a loss by the outstanding defensive end, the All-American Alex Okafor.
They do a good job of lining Alex Okafor up almost like a linebacker position, moving him around, taking care of his athletic ability to get him in space to beat one-on-one blocks.
Bears back of the line in the blink of an eye. 3rd down and 11. Movement along the line, but no flags. Lawrence throws a wobbler incomplete in the direction of their leading receiver, Terrence Williams. Art Briles and his staff wanted a flag.
Quandre Diggs getting in the grill of Terrence Williams. And Quandre Diggs knows that Terrence Williams is running inside route, Sean, so he's able to jump the route because of the split where Terrence Williams was lined up outside the numbers toward the sideline. He has nowhere else to go but inside.
Looked like Art Briles had a beef. Diggs grabbed the jersey of the receiver and spun him a bit. Spencer Roth is the punter, sophomore. He got it off under some pressure. Quandre Diggs made the first man miss, but not the rest. Prince Kent made the tackle for Baylor. 7-0, and Texas has the ball back.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
And we welcome you back to Austin, Texas. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, Quint Kessenich. Texas scored on its only play from scrimmage so far. 84-yard run by the true freshman to Jay Johnson, who's back in as the running back in the pistol behind David Ash. Johnson kind of bounced outside, lost the football, stripped by K.J. Morton. And the quarterback Ash got it back on the far sideline, but a loss on the play back to the 29.
Talk about doing your job and staying disciplined. That's exactly what K.J. Morton does. Does not chase the ball, holds the backside, does a good job of wrapping up and putting that helmet on the ball. And an excellent reaction by Ash to get on that football to save the TO.
Mack Brown's team turned it over 6 times last year in Waco in the loss to the Bears. Texas had 557 yards of offense in that game and lost. Ash zips one, broken up, intended for Marquise Goodwin, and well defended by Joe Williams, the cornerback. Let's look at tonight's impact players for Texas, brought to you by Avis.
You start out with Marquise Goodwin, the guy that they just tried to attempt to throw the ball in the intermediate route. Look for him to go deep when they want to pound the ball. Number 24, Joe Bergeron will be that guy. Alex Okafor, probably the best player on their defense, already has made an impact known with a tackle for loss.
They have a great pair of defensive ends, but Okafor flying solo tonight without his running mate Jackson Jeffcoat, who had surgery yesterday to repair a torn pec, and he's out for the rest of the year. 3rd down and 18. Ash sets up a screen for Jonathan Gray, the true freshman, and he's driven to the ground short of the first down by Sam Hall, the safety. Good tackle, and tackling has been a problem for both of these teams.
And getting off the field on 3rd down has been a huge problem for the Baylor Bears, so that's a win. Anytime Baylor's defense gets a stop, it's like breaking serve in tennis. Now they know they're back in it. They can get back with their offense.
Baylor's opponents for the year have converted on 3rd down 64% of the time. I've never heard of that before. Here's Alex King, transfer from Duke. He graduated last year with a degree in history, and it's a high snap through his hands. King looks around. There is oncoming traffic, and he falls on it back at the 8-yard line. Kadarius Golston was in hot pursuit. So a special teams blunder for Texas.
It's the little things that you take for granted. Right there, that ball was way high. King could not even get his hands on it. Smart there, understanding not to try to pick up the football. Make sure you secure it and take your medicine. Not even close on the snap. Details.
Kyle Ashby, the snapper, chatting about it with King. King was talking in the local paper the other day about you have to be a good athlete to be a punter. In the first part of it is catching the ball. It was a high snap. He couldn't catch it.
No vertical.
34-yard loss. Great opportunity for Baylor to even the score. Florence keeps. And he's into the end zone for a touchdown. When we talk about tackling, Chris, I mean, there's Michael Thompson. Rather than wrap him up, just lowered a shoulder into him, didn't stop Florence.
It's the same thing, Sean. We see it week in and week out. We talked with Manny Diaz about it. Number 2, Thompson has been guilty of that all year. Has a chance to make a tackle, does not make the tackle because he refuses to wrap up. They should refuse to play him if he's not going to wrap up.
7 seconds after the 34-yard loss on the punt play. Baylor needs just one play to score. Nick Florence, the rushing touchdown, his third of the year. This dreadful tackling, season-long problem for Texas.
It's what happens when you go further. And Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy?
Nick Florence. 7-yard run for the Baylor Bears. Mack Brown chatting with the long snapper Kyle Ashby. His high snap set up the Baylor game-tying score. So just more than 3 minutes in, already 7-7 as Aaron Jones gets ready to kick off. Marquise Goodwin, DJ Monroe back deep. Comes down to Monroe. Returned 3 kickoffs for touchdowns in his career. That's the Texas record. And he's tackled from behind by the freshman Jamal Palmer. Took a red shirt off to play today. He's a true freshman who hasn't played at all prior to tonight.
Here's a problem with Texas defense all year. You're going to have 2 guys end up in one gap. Edmonds is supposed to be out here where he'd be a non-block player. Now watch how they both end up in between the tight end. Right there, there's 2 guys in one gap. That's not gap integrity. Then here's the other Tom, number 2. Thompson's going to come in. He's just going to body bump him, not wrap up, and Florence is going to run through him like he's not even there. Touchdown. That wraps it up all in one play. What their season on defense has been like. Mental errors and not being physical enough with tackling.
David Ash on first down. Swings it out for Jay Johnson. He gets horse-collared in the flag throws. No doubt about that call. Ahmad Dixon, the linebacker, junior from right there in Waco, guilty of the penalty.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, defense, number 6. Penalty added at the end of the run. First down.
And Romeo, the referee tonight.
It's clear to me, Sean, they're making an effort to get the ball into the hands of the Jay Johnson. Clear horse collar by Dixon, and sometimes that's just an effort play. If your hand gets caught in there, it gets caught in there. Get him down, take the penalty. Rather that than let go and have him break the tackle and go for 6.
7-yard gain, 15 yards added on the penalty. Texas at midfield. And they flip it to DJ Monroe. He gets 3, and we get it back to Robert Flores in the studio. Good evening, Robert.
Good evening, Sean. Taco Bell studio update. Florida State has won 3 straight at Miami, but they fumbled early, and then Mike James turns it into a touchdown run. And right now, Miami leading number 14 Florida State 7-0 first quarter. Sean.
All right, Robert, thank you very much. David Ash playing with a injured left wrist. Looked like he might have broken it in that Oklahoma game last week, but the swelling went down very quickly. Jonathan Gray, the ball carrier. Down to the 41-yard line where Eddie Lackey and Chris McAllister made the tackle. So here's 3rd down and 1, and we mentioned the numbers. So many, all of the numbers really defensively for Phil Bennett's defense are bad, but that one's just horrendous.
And you look at their defense and break it down. The front 4 actually is pretty decent, played pretty well. It's the back 7 that's been inconsistent.
Play fake to Joe Bergeron, and they dump it in the flat for a first down. DJ Grant, the tight end, caught it, his 11th catch of the year.
Good decision by David Ash of picking up the first down, and I still maintain Brian Harsin wants to go deep. He was talking about it, and why not go deep against this unit that's had trouble covering deep balls? Take your shots.
called by Texas. They were having trouble getting lined up. Looked like Mike Davis in particular on the right side of the formation didn't know what the play was. Ash might have been changing it.
ABC Tuesday.
In case of the Baylor defense, the numbers do not lie. Second to last in the country in pass defense. Only Louisiana Tech's given up more yardage through the year. They're last in total defense. Third from the bottom in scoring defense. Only Hawaii and Marshall giving up more points. First and 10 Texas. 7-7 game. 9.5 to go in the first quarter. Joe Bergeron found a hole and has a first down to the 27-yard line. Joe Williams and Sam Hall made the stop, an 11-yard gain.
Last week the offensive line couldn't move anybody. This week they're staying on their double teams longer, then they're getting to the second level. Anytime you can do that, then put white shirts on their backs, just like big number 75 Trey Hopkins did right there, you're going to get positive yards. Joe Bergeron, Sean, north and south.
Talked to Mason Walters, number 72, the right guard, yesterday. He said they had a very physical week of practice. He said he couldn't remember when he had been more sore after a practice than he was this week. Jonathan Gray, the top running back recruit coming out of high school football last year, tripped up with the line by Terrence Lloyd and Chris McAllister. Texas got off to a very slow start against Oklahoma. At one time trailed 36-2. 5 3-and-outs in 8 possessions in the first half at the Cotton Bowl last Saturday.
I watched that film, Sean. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I mean, they couldn't run it, they couldn't throw it, they couldn't tackle, they couldn't block, they couldn't do anything. They're coming out with a mission tonight, though.
A critical game for both of these two teams, trying to end the misery. Screen set up. Mike Davis weaves to the middle of the field. And another good tackle by Sam Hall, the junior from Katy, Texas. It looks like they're going to mark Davis down about a half-yard shy of the first down.
Well, this is what David has to do, is get the ball into the playmaker's hands. Davis knows what he does with it. Defensive linemen are running to try to make plays. That's something that Art Briles emphasized in practice on the screen game. The defensive line chasing the screen down from behind, but he's too shifty for any of the big fellas to get him.
Davis is their leading receiver for the year now at 25 catches. Third down, less than a yard. Midway through the first quarter in a tie game. Ash keeps. He's a big guy, 6'3", 223 pounds. One of the most improved quarterbacks in the country. Last year, he split time as the starter with Case McCoy, who's now his backup. They had a competition in the preseason. This year was won by Ash. And we saw Ash a couple times last year. He is a much better player with the benefit of experience. Bergeron, untouched. Touchdown.
Well, when you have offensive linemen that can get out and pull like big number 78 Cochran, then your center being able to pull to close that edge and open that hole. Espinoza, number 55. And again, we talked about Bergeron does not waste time getting downfield and powers into the end zone.
His 10th rushing touchdown of the year. 15-yard run. 9-play, 72-yard drive in just under 5 minutes. Here's the Penn State transfer, Anthony Farah, for the extra point. Joe Bergeron, sophomore from Mesquite, Texas. Almost went the full trip untouched.
Changes the world.
14-7, Texas leading Baylor. Just under 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Back to the drawing board for Phil Bennett, highly regarded veteran defensive coordinator. He's very frustrated by the way this year's gone. They had 8 starters back on defense. They thought they'd be a lot better in year 2. in Bennett's defense at Baylor. Touchback on the kickoff by Nick Rose. Only 5 races left. The trophy's still up for grabs as the chase heads to Kansas. Brad Keselowski, Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin 1, 2, 3. With his win last week in Charlotte, here comes Clint Boyer hot on their heels. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues tomorrow in Kansas, presented by Ram. Coverage begins with NASCAR Sprint Cup Countdown, brought to you by Tire Rack at 1 Eastern on ESPN.
I get the feeling Jimmy Johnson's just going to make his move. You guys so good.
I know you follow it very closely. Nick Florence in the shotgun. After the play fake, he dumps it off short to Antoine Goodley to the 34-yard line at a gain of 9. The Texas coaches were talking, Chris, yesterday, Manny Diaz in particular, the defensive coordinator, about what a great job Baylor does in spreading you out vertically and horizontally. Another quick toss. This is Terrence Williams up the far sideline. That time Michael Thompson wrapped up. It's amazing when you watch Baylor how far out near the sideline the wide receivers line up. I mean, some of them look like they're almost standing on the sideline.
That could be a benefit to the defensive backs because there's only so many routes they can run from that outside position.
The ball gets flipped inside, and the Texas defense is there to drop Tevin Reese for a loss of 3 back to the Baylor 49-yard line. Well defended by DeMarco Cobbs and Josh Turner.
The strength of DeMarco Cobbs is not the inside run, but he certainly can chase the ball down side to side.
One of the things the Texas defense has done well, as you saw in the graphic, tackles for loss, more than 8 per game. Jared Salubi couldn't break free from the tackle of DeMarco Cobbs. Well, they've worked on the tackling. Manny Diaz says you got to practice the fundamentals, but you don't want it to get to the point where they're thinking about the mechanics of tackling, because sometimes that can have a paralyzing effect.
That was outstanding open field tackle by DeMarco Cobbs. Why? Because he wrapped his arms.
That seems like a pretty important part of tackling that often does not happen. 3rd and 10. Florence looks to the sideline for some guidance. Play clock running down to 5, and they're going to take a timeout, it seems, with the crowd in full voice. First timeout called by the Baylor Bears.
You're going to see where Texas is vulnerable, and the guy that, if I'm Texas and I'm concerned with, is Terrence Williams. Now, one way you can do it is put Terrence Williams on the triple receiver side. You can run picks for him to get down the field. He's a big target that can run hard. Or what a lot of teams like to do is they like to work the single receiver side away from the 3 receiver side because they have more room to work, and it's a one-on-one matchup that they feel like they can win.
Great momentum in the Baylor program. A 10-win season a year ago. First ever Heisman Trophy for Baylor, won by Robert Griffin III. And Art Briles and the Baylor Bears in 2014 are going to move into a beautiful new riverfront stadium in Waco. Recruiting is picked up. But he said now that they have arrived, they tend to get the other team's best shots now. They don't sneak up on anybody anymore as they did in the past. Williams was the intended receiver, and they throw the flag. Andre Diggs had the coverage. Those two were matched up for a lot of the game last year in Waco.
I asked Quandre Diggs, how do you defend a big fellow Williams number 2? He says you have to get physical. Yes, you do. Just keep your hands off of him.
Holding defense on an eligible receiver. 10-yard penalty. Also includes a lost first down and automatic first down.
Look at his position, Sean. He only has one way to go. That's the skinny post. He's not running anything out here.
No.
So he's got to line himself up inside and overplay the skinny post. He got out of position by jumping outside. There's nowhere out there to go. Stay inside. You got to play. You don't have to hold them.
Diggs is another guy, as we visited in the SJ, talked about the lack of effort. He and Kenny Vaccaro vocal about the belief in their minds that they have some teammates who aren't playing hard enough. Lasco Martin, the ball carrier. Andre Diggs and Kenny Vaccaro, part of the secondary that was expected to be excellent. They have 3 starters back. They did lose the safety Blake Gideon, who's in the NFL. with the Denver Broncos. 2nd and 9. Flutter ball to the far side, caught by Williams and shoved out by Diggs. There is a flag down in the offensive backfield.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense. Number 36. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Well, first of all, they're coming with a blitz right here, delayed blitz. And you got to be able to pull off. That's Kendall Thompson. I understand trying to make a play, but the way they call it nowadays, you have to be disciplined enough to pull off.
1st and 10. Baylor looking for the tying touchdown from the Texas 16. Design run for Florence. And another first down. Yeah, it looked like they tried to bump him to the ground rather than tackle him to the ground.
Well, it's the same problem, Sean, that we talk about. Up front, inside, getting a push, just like there.
1st and goal, Glasgow Martin. He's inside the 2-yard line. Kenny Vaccaro made the stop. Texas defense was number 1 in the Big 12 in total defense each of the last 4 years. They thought they were going to be outstanding again this year. Been an enormous surprise and disappointment, and Martin has the touchdown, and that was easy.
Manny Diaz right there saying too easy, and basically you get a little bit concerned because right there the Baylor offensive line took it to the Texas defensive line and drove them off the ball, changed the line of scrimmage, and dictated tempo to them.
75 yards in 9 plays in just under 3 minutes. That's a long drive in terms of time for them. They've had 11 touchdown drives this year of under a minute, the Baylor Bears. 6th rushing touchdown of the year for Glasgow Martin, the junior from Round Rock. And here are the woes. If they played in a bowl game, the yardage projects out to better than 5,800 yards. That would be more than 1,000 yards more than any team has allowed in Texas history. Their last 3 Big 12 games, 147 points, most in a 3-game stretch to start a conference season. And Manny Diaz and his defensive staff members searching for solutions. They really miss Jordan Hicks, but at a certain point, that's an excuse.
Absolutely, it's an excuse for Texas. Here's the issue with me, and you see right there, they're checking on Tevin Reese. The issue is this: Manny has to simplify things. When you simplify things, you take things away that can benefit your defense. But if you don't trust your defense to execute all your different defenses, you simplify it. It's easy for Baylor to exploit, which they just did.
So Aaron Jones will kick off, the all-time leading scorer in Baylor history. As expected, more than 4 minutes to go in the quarter and already 28 points on the board. Kickoff out of the back of the end zone. Last year they met in early December. Robert Griffin III trying to enhance his Heisman candidacy, and he was terrific. Threw for 2, rushed for 2 more, passed for 320 yards. And Baylor beat the Horns 48-24. Remember the scene at midfield when Mac Brown went over to congratulate RG3, and remember the interview that RG3 did on the field after the game. Said I think Baylor just won its first Heisman Trophy. That turned out to be prophetic. Ash, a pump fake, and he got blasted, and it's dropped. Mike Davis was open. Boy, Ash stood in there and took the hit, and Davis didn't help him out.
Well, you like to see that, though, from Ash with coming off the injury. And I like the pump fake because he's going to trust his receiver Davis to work in between the corner and safety, and he throws to a spot, and this is where Texas struggles. You talk about where some of their problems are: inconsistency, drop balls.
Empty backfield, 5 wide receivers now for David Ash. Throws it short, caught by DJ Grant, bumped out of bounds at the 30-yard line by KJ Morton, junior corner from Warner Robins, Georgia.
3rd and 4 for Texas in this situation. You think, okay, it's automatic pass, but you're playing such a defense that isn't strong against the run. The whole playbook is open as far as I'm concerned, because you're able to grind it out and pound it on the ground.
You know, it's not an automatic throw.
Baylor, the worst third down defense in the country. Texas, one of the best third down offenses for the year, 54%. Sixth in the country. 2 out of 3 tonight. And Davis couldn't catch it. Ball deflected the line of scrimmage.
It's another stop. It's another stop as Gary Mason Jr. understood the 3-step drop and was able to get his hands up. But that's what you want. Look at Phil Bennett will take that win every time. He gives his offense a chance to get back on the field, and that's success.
Like the Texas defense, they've had some key injuries too. They are playing without their starting safety Mike Hicks. Alex King punts. Their catch made after a bobble by Levi Norwood. We'll mark it at the 18-yard line. For subscribers of Longhorn Network, you can join Texas Game Day final right after the game. In-depth analysis and highlights on November 10th. Texas hosts Big 12 Conference opponent Iowa State exclusively on Longhorn Network. If you don't have Longhorn Network, go to TexasFights.com to check availability and ask for it from your TV service provider. You made your way over to the Longhorn Network for a pregame appearance on that lovely set.
Loved it. Saw my old friend Lo Galindo, the star of the Longhorn Network, as far as I'm concerned.
Out of the pistol. Florence handed it off to Glasgow Martin. A 1-yard gain. Tackled by Steve Edmond, the sophomore middle linebacker, their leading tackler for the year.
That's a guy that's got to get it going. We talked to Manny Diaz yesterday. At times he plays great, at times he plays bad. Well, that's not good enough if you're the middle linebacker from Texas.
3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Florence, deep throw after the fake, has a receiver wide open. Terrence Williams off to the races, and they're not going to catch him. 80-yard touchdown, and Baylor has the lead.
I think they got him on the old double move. You have to be disciplined if you're in zone. Deep is the deepest.
Terrence Williams, the nation's leader in receiving yards per game. 166 yards per game. His average might improve tonight. He had touchdowns of 74 and 77 last week against TCU, and now an 80-yarder as he got away from Quandre Diggs.
Let's take a look here, Sean. Terrence Williams not even threatened on a double move, but he's going to throw a nice little hitch. Doesn't really sell it. Quandre Diggs loses his balance. As a corner, if you lose your balance, you got no shot with a guy like Terrence Williams who knows how to finish. Go to that double move and you fall down. You know what you do? You go tackle the guy. Take the flag. Nick Florence is answering the challenge tonight, isn't he?
Once again, you're encouraging breaking the rules, which I think
Well, you tackle the guy.
A little off-putting, but if that's the way you want to be, that's fine. I know it really frustrates you. We've seen a lot of Big 12 football, and it's an exciting brand of football. They spread you out, they throw it all over the place, and there's a zillion points. But as a former defensive player, there's a lot of what you see that you really have a problem with.
Well, I understand there's time that there's more space, and guys are going to make more plays. You're going to get 80 plays a game. The point I have a problem with is lack of fundamentals being taught, and I really do believe coordinators focus so much on alignment and assignment and schemes that they lose sight of the fundamentals and the discipline. If you have the deep third part of the field, your deep is the deepest. It's simple.
Aaron Jones kicks off, another touchback. Well, time for a segment that is really captivating America. What's the spiel?
Well, you look at the headlines and 70 to 63 and 63 to 21. It's embarrassing. And I really think, I understand you can get in the 30s and 40s. I understand that. But if I really believe this, Sean, if teams would go back to working on fundamentals and actually tackling in practice, not worry about out-scheming everybody, keeping the ball in front of you, and really focus in on the fundamentals, some of those scores would drop. They're still going to be higher than they were when I played, but they would drop because the fundamentals would improve.
Joe Bergeron straight ahead. He gets 4. It's interesting to talk to Mac Brown yesterday about the problems that defenses are having really around college football. He described it as a disease that's spreading. He said part of it is offenses are using the whole field. They really spread you out. Now they're taking better players and putting them at wide receiver, where in the past many of them might have been defensive backs. The up tempo wears out the defenses. You can't get your defensive calls in because of the rules on tackling, with the emphasis on concussions. Some players don't tackle as well because they're afraid of penalties. And we agree with you. He said they're teaching too much alignment and assignment and not enough fundamentals. Bergeron tackled by Ahmad Dixon at the 32. It'll be 3rd and 3.
I'm going to add another thing in there. I believe a lot of it's the 7-on-7s around the country now with the high school kids. And what are you taught when you don't have pads on or no 7-on-7 leads? Avoid contact. Well, it becomes habitual, and we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. So if you're continually avoiding contact when you put the pads on, you got to break the bad habits those kids have when they come here.
3rd down and 3. Minute and a half to go, first quarter. Ash, plenty of time, and a receiver wide open. Mike Davis made the catch, and he gets yanked down by Joe Williams, the junior corner from St. Louis, Missouri. A 9-yard gain and a first down for Texas.
And that's who they're going to go after tonight. Joe Williams have had some issues, but he's doing his job. And if I'm Phil Bennett, I say, Joe, play safe. Let him catch it in front of you. Just make the tackle. We'll rally and we'll line up and play again.
Part of Phil Bennett's frustration, particularly last week, and it was verified when we watched the tape of the TCU game. They have players in position, particularly on pass plays, that just don't make a play on the ball. Nobody home there, and M.J. McFarland deep down the middle. The freshman has been an emerging threat at tight end in recent weeks. That's good for a 29-yard gain to the Baylor 30.
Well, I talk about it every week. You got to get pressure and jam the inside receivers. Bryce Hagar right here. All you got to do is step in front of him, disrupt the timing. If you let him run by you, there's no way the safety can get there, and it's easy pitch and catch. Always jam and disrupt the timing of the inside receiver.
Nice throw by Ash as well. Just enough air under it, floated over the defender. Goodwin takes it from Ash. World-class track athlete down the near sideline and out of bounds at the 17. We're going to mark it at the 16 for a 14-yard gain and a first down for the Longhorns.
Well, here, I mean, speed. Here's what you have. Right there, you see the chop block just enough to knock down Chance Casey. And Chance Casey's job is to bounce the ball back inside. Well, he got knocked inside.
It's the end of the first quarter. You have to feel for Phil Bennett, one of the really good guys in college coaching, and he is reaching the end of his rope in terms of patience. Very frustrating, and it started earlier tonight. Johnson scored in the first play from scrimmage, but Baylor has rallied back and leads after 1. And we welcome you back to ABC's Saturday Night Football, presented by Windows 8 from beautiful Austin, Texas, on a gorgeous night. First play of the second quarter. Texas, 1st and 10 of the Baylor 16. The Bears lead by 7. DJ Monroe trying to turn the corner. Chased out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Here's Phil Bennett, former head coach at SMU.
Good defensive coach. You have to start selling out for the run. Texas has made it clear what they're doing. You have to force them to throw the football, and how you do that is bring your safeties down tighter to the line of scrimmage and dare them to throw the ball over the top. If you don't, they're just going to pound, pound, pound. Then you have no shot.
David Ash hands it off to Bergeron, who bounced away behind the line of scrimmage and powers down inside the 3-yard line. 1st and goal, Texas. Here's Quint Kesnick.
Baylor linebackers really struggling right now. Defensive coordinator Phil Bennett spending the majority of time with Bryce Hager, who he has now taken out of the game at the Mike linebacker position. He's replaced him with 26, Rodney Chadwick.
And Hager's been their leading tackler for the year. Son of Britt Hager, the former All-American linebacker here at the University of Texas, went on to a fine NFL career. This is generally where you see Big Joe Bergeron, the powerful 236-pound running back. And here he comes, and there he goes into the end zone. Touchdown, Texas. Teams and coaching staff spent the whole week working on the defense, hoping this is going to be the week you start to solve some of the problems and the defenses get better. And the nightmare continues for Manny Diaz and Phil Bennett. Extra point good by Anthony Farah just over a minute into the second quarter. Tied at 21. Here at Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium during the timeout, the Texas men's basketball team, they were presented with a handcrafted surfboard in anticipation of their trip out to Maui in the 2012 EA Sports Maui Invitational, which will come your way on ESPN November 19th through the 21st from the Lahaina Civic Center. I am filled with the aloha spirit as I see them out there.
You love that event. I think I'm going to take Raph's place. Take him out and jump in there. I could say it's with the kiss. I could say it's just as good as Raph's.
Got to give up some things, but Maui is not one of them.
What'd you do, trip?
What'd you do, trip? Nick Rose's kickoff through the back of the end zone as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary and their numbers that the defensive coaches do not want to look at already. 332 yards combined of offense, and we're a minute into the second quarter.
I circled the 100 yards because the physical practice on Tuesday is paying off for the offensive line. Mason Walters talked about it, and that has to do with coach's heart good to see it pay dividends from the practice field to the game field. It certainly has for the Texas offensive line.
Nick Florence hands it off inside. Jared Salubi out to the 29-yard line. He's a senior, he's been waiting his chance to play, and Philip Montgomery, the offensive coordinator, said they're waiting for him to have that breakout game. They think he's close, he's capable, hasn't really done it yet. Marked it at 28, 2nd and 7. Nice decision by Florence. Lots of running room. And he's across midfield and then took a shot while he was in the slide. Josh Turner hit him. 24 yards on the run for Nick Florence.
It's all about decision making right here. He doesn't even look to throw. Takes off running downfield. A missed assignment again on the Longhorn defense. Go into your slide a little bit earlier, Nick. Your team needs you.
He has a 60-yard run this year, the longest run from scrimmage by a Baylor player this season. Jared Salubi got about 5 more. Steve Edmond made the tackle at the 44-yard line. 2nd down and 5.
Well, that tempo's starting to bother the big fellas up front for the Longhorns. Hands on hips, indication of being tired.
Florence, the leading passer in the nation, the leader in total offense per game at 404 yards. Good stiff arm by Salubi, and he got belted out of bounds. And here's the flag on Kenny Vaccaro, who was woofing after he blasted the player out of bounds. Salubi.
Take a look.
Dead ball, personal foul, defense, number 4, unnecessary roughness, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Watch Adrian Phillips, number 17, coming into your screen. The first thing he does wrong, I know coaches always say this, he breaks down. If you break down in space, the guy will make you miss. Take your shot. Don't run to your target, run through your target. Vaccaro, be disciplined, pull off.
9-yard gain, 15-yard penalty. Good fake, man open. Lanier Sampson the catch. his first catch of the night, and that's 36 straight games now with a reception.
You bite up inside. Nick Florence is too good, too confident right now. He's not going to make that mistake. He's going to read high to low, not low to high.
First and goal from the 7. Lasco Martin taken down immediately. Kendall Thompson in on the stop for Texas.
They've had success running the football down here, not with their running backs, but the read option with number 11, Nick Florence.
Second and goal from the 7. Florence decides to throw it. Good idea. Touchdown, Lanier Sampson.
It's the version of the triple option, Sean. First of all, what a job by the offensive line. That's a designed pass right there, because nobody from Baylor's offensive line fired off the ball. Lanier Sampson not panicking. You lose sight of him, bind him, loses sight of him. He just works to the back of the end zone. And Nick Florence understands the offense, understands where the open receivers are, keeps his patience, composure, and delivers a strike.
You want to guess what the final score of this one's going to be?
76-72.
Probably the same kind of score we'll have out in Maui. 75-yard drive in 7 plays. Baylor leads again.
From Verizon.
Salsa dancing. Been a lot of dancing in the end zone for these two teams. The latest, Lanier Sampson, we mentioned 36 straight games with a reception. It's the 3rd longest streak in the country. Back to the drawing board for the Texas defense, and Mac Brown is in on the conversation over there with longtime defensive assistant Dwayne Aquina.
You predicted that. They struggled. I know that the head coach is going to go down there, start taking charge, especially a guy that's taking some heat on his defense's performance.
Aaron Jones kicks off, returnable for DJ Monroe. The kicker, the last line of defense, and Aaron Jones bumped him out. A long return by DJ Monroe. They'll mark him out at the 30-yard line, very nearly added to his Texas record of kickoff returns for touchdowns. He has 3, including 1 this year.
And kickoff is a lot like gap coverage. You have 2 guys in 1 gap. That's no good. You see the kicker has the angle, does a good job of keeping them in bounce. I'm going to make a suggestion to Baylor. What I'm going to do, because your offense can get the ball back quicker, you start onside kicking the football. That way they only have 50 yards to go. You get in the red zone. You have the end line of the end zone to be your 12th man, and maybe you hold them to a field goal. But your
offense, you might recover the onside kick a couple times, and then your defense doesn't have to come
I'm being completely serious.
Yeah, just get it over with more quickly. Might be last team with the ball wins tonight. Ash throws, good catch on a low ball, and good maneuvering through the traffic by Mike Davis inside the 20 and down to the 16-yard line. 14-yard gain. Javonte McGee made the tackle for the Baylor Bears.
Nice makeup by Davis. We saw the drop earlier. Does a good job of going down and getting it, not going to his knees, keeping his feet, getting shifty and getting yards.
He's a junior from Dallas.
What's the problem? Let's see.
Dan Romeo, the referee.
The ruling on the field was a completed pass. The previous play is now under further review.
Huh?
Well, there's a problem with that, because you stop momentum when you don't need to stop momentum, especially if you have a defense that is tired.
Well, this looks to be pretty
not even
clearly,
close.
I mean, that ball isn't close to hitting the ground.
You know, trust the guys on the field. They know what they're doing.
Unless they're looking at something else, I don't know what else it would be. I mean, that is clearly a catch.
Well, and again, I mean, you have a defense that is struggling and reeling. You want to get in a huddle, you want to get lined up, and you want to come at him again. Look, this stops the game, it stops the momentum. It gives Baylor a timeout to go over and make some type of adjustment.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed.
You can hear the crowd groan. They saw the same replay on the replay board here that you saw at home. They were perplexed as to why the game was stopped. 3 catches tonight for Mike Davis. Texas looking for the tying touchdown. 1st and 10 to the Baylor 16.
You know, they got to play action anytime they want it, but they're going to pound Bergeron.
Straight ahead. Good push by the offensive line. And they're down to the 12-yard line, inside the 12. Bryce Hager and Ahmad Dixon made the tackle.
Anytime they get in the wishbone, that's an inverted wishbone. They have the tailback, 2 up backs. If I'm Baylor, I run a run blitz. It's my only shot at stopping it. I try to play man-to-man on the corners, but I bring everybody else up to the line of scrimmage and take a shot.
2nd and 5 out of this formation.
Don't need it.
Jackson Shipley took the direct snap, then he handed it off to DJ Monroe. Brian Harsons from Boise State is on the staff there. They're known for the occasional dip into the bag of tricks. But I agree with you. You know, you scoring easily the conventional way.
Save it for when you might need it in another game. Don't show it and give it away. I don't buy that. You have to give other teams something to prepare for. That's not hard to prepare for. Do what you've been doing. Line up and shove it down their throat.
2nd year here after their 5-7 year 2 years ago. Mac Brown playing 7 assistant coaches. They won 8 games last year. Here's Bergeron, has the first down, has the touchdown.
You don't expect 250 pounds to outrun your corner. But right here, Joe Williams takes the poor angle, and Bergeron showing his speed along with his power. Does a good job of sneaking that left arm inside the pylon. Which Bennett again expressing frustration, as he should.
Here's Anthony Farah. Transferred from Penn State in August. Said he was reluctant to leave Penn State, but he's from the state of Texas, and his mom's had health issues recently. He took advantage to get closer to home. Bergeron, a 9-yard touchdown run. Set up by the 70-yard kickoff return by DJ Monroe. The tie.
Of the Heisman Trophy.
We're looking there at the original 13 rules of basketball written by James Naismith way back in 1891. They're on display here at the Blanton Museum of Art on the Texas campus. Eventually be on permanent display at Allen Fieldhouse, the University of Kansas. Those original documents were auctioned off not long ago. $4.3 million.
Did Raft help them write those?
Raff helped Dr. Naismith put the peach basket up. Nick throws another touchback, and we send it back to Robert Flores.
All right, Sean, Dr. Pepper 10 conference update. Let's stay in the Big 12, where Arthur Brown with the interception of Geno Smith. First time Smith has been picked off all season. Brown is the same guy that picked off RG3 for the first time last season. Meantime, Kansas State is just pouring it on West Virginia. Colin Klein, 6 touchdowns in all, and right now K-State leading 45-7. Sean.
There's a new leader in the Heisman Trophy race, Colin Klein. Jared Salubi on 1st and 10 for Baylor. Weaved his way out across the 32. By the way, if you want to learn more about those 13 rules of basketball, subject of a 30 for 30 film, which will re-air Monday night at 9 Eastern on ESPN2. It's called There's No Place Like Home. Salubi again has the first down as he crossed the 35-yard line. Kendall Thompson made the tackle. This is the 6th possession for Baylor. They've scored 4 touchdowns, trying to make it 5 out of 6. Texas had 6 possessions. They've scored 4 touchdowns. Defense virtually non-existent on both sides again tonight. 9 minutes to go in the half, tied at 28. Florence cannot run away. Good open field tackle by Josh Turner. Loss of a yard. Here's Quint Kesnick.
Baylor operating without inside receiver Tevin Reese, left shoulder bruise. He's going to be reevaluated at halftime, but it doesn't look good.
Play fake by Florence, and a deep throw, and is it intercepted? They're looking at each other, the officials. No signal. Now they're saying he caught it. Interception for Josh Turner. The one official is marking it at the 37, and now they're going to talk about it, and undoubtedly this will be reviewed. But for the moment, they're marking the ball as an interception.
And you wonder right here, the loss.
Ruling on the field was an interception. Texas ball, 1st and 10.
Usually that's a mistake. Is that the loss of Tevin Reese? Somebody not running the right route because he throws it to where nobody is. You see two Baylor receivers in there, and it looks like the hands are underneath the ball and secured. It's a great catch. Yeah, look at that. Look at the hands between the ground and the football. Yeah, that's a good catch. But to me, that was a mental error on the receiver's part. Nick Florence is going to throw to a spot. And why is it on the receivers? Well, it's on the receivers because two receivers are in the same area. Never in this offense or any offense, except on quick screens, are two receivers in the same area down the field because it brings more defenders to the football.
And Josh Turner, sophomore from Oklahoma City, with his first interception of the season and the 9th of the year for Texas if it stands.
Good play for Josh. Backup safety coming in and making a tackle for a loss, then backing it up with the interception, getting his opportunity and making the most of it. Good job, Josh.
In a game like this, the turnovers are critical because you have to score on virtually every possession, it seems, if you're going to keep up. The turnovers have really been the big factor in this Baylor season. There's the ruling.
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
Baylor won its first 3 games of the year. They were +6 in turnover margin. But they're -7 in the last 2 games, both of them losses. They opened with wins over SMU, Sam Houston State, and Louisiana Monroe. Then the loss at West Virginia and the loss last week at home to TCU. First turnover of the game. And here's David Ash. Jay Johnson taken down by Bryce Hager, the leading tackler in the Big 12. Nearly 13 tackles per game, 12.7. That's 3rd in the country.
Go back to the Texas offensive line, and one reason why they're able to run the football, unlike last week, this week they're sustaining blocks. The front 4 for Baylor, maybe some fatigue because they're not getting any separation off that Texas Longhorn offensive line.
There's a Warren Knight. Temperature was in the mid-80s at kickoff. Ash in the flat for the fullback Ryan Robertson, who was chopped down immediately by Ahmad Dixon, one of the biggest recruits in the history of Baylor football. He was the number 15 ranked player in the country by ESPN coming out of high school.
Well, the only problem I have with David Ash right there is he's reading low receiver to high receiver. He had the high man or the deep route open, but he doesn't really trust. That's the one thing we asked him. Where can you improve? Confidence in my reads. Right there, he didn't trust his read because he had a receiver down open for 15 yards.
Third down and 7, and a receiver open, Davis. Well, why wouldn't you look down the field first with a defense like this that has struggled mightily all year against the pass? Chance Casey shoved Davis out of bounds. It's a 35-yard gain.
This is the wheel route. It's on number 22 right there. Joe Williams. Joe Williams gets nosy inside. Davis comes to the flat. Joe Williams has to get wide and understand if that route turns into a deep route, be in the corner, down the sidelines, you got to turn and run with him on the out and up or wheel route. Same thing.
Ash under center now. DJ Monroe shifted back into the backfield. Ash did look deep originally, and he threw it away. Completed it to, I believe that's Ian McCaw, the athletic director at Baylor, on the far sideline. It looked like Ian from a distance. Made a nice catch, dressed in a suit.
Now I wonder.
There's Ian McCaw.
There you go. He did make a nice catch, but I wonder if the wrist is on the back of his mind, because right then and there, tuck and run. Then go slide and get out of bounds and get positive yards as opposed to throwing it to nobody, because he had time to run the football and do a little slide. He'll get better.
Ryan Harsin said Ash is getting better at throwing the ball to the man who's open and not to the man he wants to throw it to before the play even starts. Nice move by Jonathan Gray, and he scores. Missed tackles again. Touchdown Texas, and the lead back to the Longhorns as they capitalize on the interception thrown by Nick Florence.
One of the best tacklers Baylor has is number 25, Sam Hall. Been watching a little bit of baseball because he's going to come up here and throw a no-hitter right there. Ducks his head. The true freshman puts a little move, hesitation, burst into the end zone.
A 25-yard touchdown run. Anthony Farrett kicks the extra point. 63 yards and only 5 plays. It took 2:12 to do it, and the Longhorns lead again. Tonight's Aflac trivia question. We want to know, since 1970, excluding Oklahoma and Texas A&M, what is the only school to beat Texas in 3 consecutive seasons? Something Baylor would do if the Bears win tonight. They had lost 12 in a row to Texas. We're winning each of the last 2 seasons. Longhorns lead tonight 35-28, and still 6:18 to go till the half. Nick Rhodes booms another. And we send you back to Robert Flores.
All right, Sean, here's what's happening on SportsCenter right now. We've got an upset brewing. Toledo is leading number 21 Cincinnati. Bearcats playing their first true road game of the season. That's Bernard Reedy. Long 91-yard touchdown for the Rockets, and they lead 26-20 third quarter.
Your MAC team's doing it again, Chris.
I called that upset. We'll see if it comes through.
Here's Jared Salubi on 1st and 10 for Baylor, ahead for 2 yards. Cedric Reed made the tackle. He's helping fill in for Jackson Jeffco. That was a huge loss for Texas. The defensive end for the 2nd year in a row ruptured a pec. Not the same one. He's now had surgery on each pec last year and this year, but the coaches think Reed and Reggie Wilson have really come on at defensive end. Glasgow Martin slowed down by Dalton Santos, a true freshman who's seeing more time at linebacker. He's a big 250-pounder who's made a name for himself on special teams. He runs down, covers kickoffs, and he is a force. Martin's going to go off the field. 3rd down and 5. Big play for Baylor. They need to keep scoring.
Texas is showing blitz. Let's see if they back out of it.
They rushed 5. Quick slant. Incomplete. Thrown behind Clay Fuller, and he couldn't catch it. Josh Turner had the coverage. And words that have rarely been spoken tonight. The defense holds.
Well, that's a good job right there of Nick Florence, understanding where the blitz was coming. But that's the first time tonight, besides the interception, where he delivers a poor pass. If he delivers that pass where Fuller can catch it and run with it, they'll get the first down. A good call by Manny Diaz. Well executed, forced the bad throw.
Spencer Roth to punt. Texas has blocked 3 punts this year, more than any team in the country. They don't rush. Setting up a return, Andre Diggs. They were trying to strip the ball. They could not. The tackle made by Darius Jones at the 35-yard line. Time now for the answer. Do you want to guess?
I'm going to say I had Nebraska, but I changed it to Bill Yeoman, where he put in the Houston Veer. Is that correct?
You know it's correct.
Because I went on spring break in 1970 when I was 5 to put in a Houston Veer for my dad's high school football team. Bill Yeoman. Wrong years, but right school. Once again, my streak is alive. Stay hot.
Sir, you have helped, which is staggering to me, man, of your character.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Joe Bergeron, the ball carrier. Javonte McGee made the tackle, 3-yard gain. Texas could score again, open up a 2-score margin. And it changed the complexion of this game significantly.
I like the fact that they're slowing their tempo down, too. It gives their offense rest, keeps Baylor's offense off the field.
Jackson Shipley has the first down. Out to the 45-yard line, taken out of bounds by Joe Williams. 8-yard gain, the sophomore Shipley. No problems with that left wrist for Ash. Boy, when you watch that Texas-Oklahoma game last week, he came over to the sideline. It looked like he had a baseball-sized bump on his left wrist. He said he wasn't all that worried about it being broken because he said I wasn't in enough pain to feel like it was broken. Marquise Goodwin the catch, short gain, but boy, it sure looked gruesome. Last week's game, he gets hit, immediately grasping at that left wrist, and they go over to the sideline. It was really
scared.
swollen.
Yeah, I think he was scared more than anything. Was it hematoma? Or?
He described it as a hematoma.
Yep. Just a ball of blood in there. Good thing it worked out for him.
So by the time he really got in the locker room, the swelling had already gone down. He's throwing a deep ball. Nice spiral over the head of Mike Davis with Joe Williams running in coverage. And he didn't miss any practice time this week. Ash was full go all week.
And doesn't seem to have any lingering effect after that throw. If you're long, you're never wrong. Either your guy gets it or nobody gets it. And I've been waiting for that. We've been talking about in between breaks. You got to start taking the shots down the field because you got to get them to commit to stopping the run. They have that anytime they want it.
Can I ask you? You always say if you're long, you're never wrong. Right. I mean, if the guy's wide open and you throw it too long, it doesn't complete. Isn't that wrong?
Yeah, but if you're short and the defensive back catches it and intercepts it, you're wrong.
Well, how about if you're long, you're usually not wrong?
Okay.
Ash completes it for a first down. Bryant Jackson the catch, sophomore, just his 4th reception of the year. He's from Sulphur Springs, Texas.
And this is the other thing about, now you went deep. So what are you going to do? You're going to come back with a comeback route. You run the corner off and just work back to the football. And I really like how David Ash is seeing the field and making those good, confident decisions. Something that he wanted to improve on, and he is tonight.
17-yard gain, 3 minutes to go in the half. Texas leading by 7 and driving again. Ash going deep, and it is well covered this time by Darius Jones, running with Kendall Sanders, the true freshman. It's incomplete.
Darius Jones staying in his back pedal, gets out nice and looks and leans. That's a good job of Darius Jones using his body, looking back for the football and leaning into it to throw the receiver Sanders off balance.
Here's Quint Kesnick.
Darius Jones playing the boundary corner right now for KJ Morton, who's on the sideline according to trainer Mike Sims. He's got a groin injury.
To Jay Johnson. Ahead for a yard, then Bryce Hager made the tackle from right here in Austin. Mentioned earlier his dad was a star here for the Texas Longhorns. Britt Hager, All-American, went on to play for the Philadelphia Eagles, Denver Broncos, and the Rams.
Good player, tough. Good number. Supposedly.
Ash, plenty of time, throws, caught, first down. Marquise Goodwin made the tackle. 12-yard gain, and the chains move again for Texas.
Goodwin comes in, working again on Joe Williams, and like a basketball player, uses his body to keep himself between the ball and defender, coming back and working for the football. Another good read by Ash.
Baylor's been giving up 41.6 points per game for the year. That might be exceeded here in the first half. Bergeron spins down inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. And a timeout is called by Baylor. Good move. The way this is going, you need to get the ball back and score again before the half.
I like it. And watch a double team. You see right there the double team between number 75 Trey Hopkins and Espinosa. They're changing the line of scrimmage. Baylor's not touching them when they run up the middle for at least 5 yards down the field. That's physical football that the Longhorns want and worked on.
Tomorrow night on ESPN and ESPNU, join Reese Davis along with Kirk Herbstreit, Jesse Palmer, and David Pollack. They'll unveil the latest BCS poll and analyze the contenders and the pretenders. BCS Countdown presented by Tostitos tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern on ESPN, and then continuing on the U at 9 Eastern.
The Gators with a statement today.
Yeah, a lot of people were surprised when they were number 2 in the initial BCS standings that came out last weekend. They played a strong schedule, and they did make a statement today. They put it on the head ball coach at his return to the Swamp today.
I think they wrap up the East next week if they beat Georgia.
They're coached by Will Muschamp, who was the defensive coordinator here at Texas, and for a while was the head coach in waiting. They didn't want to wait. Took a terrific job at Florida. Here's Jonathan Gray. And the poor tackling continues. Finally shoved across the boundary by Bryce Hager inside the 5-yard line. First and goal for Texas.
When you're big and athletic and you can move like Trey Hopkins and get downfield and kick out on a defensive back and take him so far away from the ball, put him on his back that he's going to need cap fare to get back to the huddle, that's a benefit. That's a plus. And really playing with passion and a mission, that offensive line of the Longhorns tonight.
First and goal. Bergeron taken down. Good tackle around the ankles by Ahmad Dixon. And now the question is, will Baylor use its last timeout? Apparently not here. Surprised Texas is going quickly. Why wouldn't you try to let as much time come off the clock as possible? Ash throws it away. I know they wanted to catch the defense off guard, but you really haven't had to catch them off guard tonight. And the play, you would think, we run the clock down as long as you can and don't leave Baylor any time.
That gives them a chance, and especially David Ash has no interest in running the football. They covered it well. And again, I agree with you, Sean. Why throw it? And they have yet to stop you.
And why hurry up?
Exactly. Max taking a timeout now.
Nick Florence and the offense likely to get the ball back. We chatted with Mason Walters, the right guard for Texas yesterday. He said the offensive line play has been subpar the last few weeks. Physical week of practices. They came out from the opening play of this game determined to make a statement.
Yeah, and they're getting on their blocks. They're sustaining blocks. The other thing they're doing well is when they double team. Right here, you're going to see the pooling, getting people on the ground, finishing people. When they're double teaming, they're driving the defensive line back into the linebackers, which cuts off the linebackers' angles. That's why the Texas running backs are not getting touched until they're 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage.
And their worst offensive performance of the season last week against Oklahoma. Oklahoma did a lot of moving up front, a lot of twisting, and the offensive line for Texas, by its own admission, just did not deal with it very well.
Well, and obviously Baylor's trying to simulate what Oklahoma did, but the problem is when you're 285 pounds, 295 pounds, 265 pounds, it's not. It's easier to move than 310 and 320.
They need to put Bevo in uniform.
Bevo wants to eat that Aflac duck when the field crosses.
Third down and goal. 13th play of the drive. And another timeout call. Well, we've heard a lot about the hot seat this week for Mack Brown. He's had incredible success. Matter of fact, since 1990, no coach in the country has won more games than Mack Brown. But they've drifted toward mediocrity the last 2.5 years. They're 17-14. But people forget quickly what the 14 years prior to Mack's arrival were like. They won fewer than 58% of their games, had only 2 10-win seasons in that span. Since Mack Brown's been here, they've had 9 10-plus win seasons in his first 14 years, a national championship. But because of the job that he and his staff have done, the bar's been raised, the expectations have been raised. And when you have a program like this, Chris, where, you know, by their own admission, they almost don't have to recruit, they really select.
Yeah.
They get players one after another. High school who are all Americans. The expectation is you're going to win at a high level every year.
It's pretty amazing that Mack Brown, and I guess he had to do it, was call a meeting, tell his players he wasn't quitting, nobody else quit. Let's rally around and get it going.
Speculation about whether he'd retire. He says he's not going anywhere, determined to fix this. Bergeron scores. And again, it was easy. Fourth rushing touchdown of the night for Joe Bergeron, matching his season high at 4 in their 3-point loss here to West Virginia. For the record, Mack Brown told us yesterday he does not believe he's on the hot seat. The people whose opinion matter, the president of the school, the trustees, the athletic director, he believes we're all very firmly in his corner. He's under contract through 2020. Anthony Farah kicks the extra point.
And here's why they don't need to throw another pass the rest of the night. Starts here with Walters, who's going to get a kick out. Double to the linebacker. Bergeron goes there without being touched. Watch double to the linebacker. Watch 55, Espinoza. See the double? Gets on the linebacker, swings his hips in the hole just enough, then finishes the block by putting him on the ground. That's physical football. That's what he wants. That's what he's coaching. That's what he coached this week. They're sending a message that what happened last week is not going to happen again.
We talked about Will Muschamp, who was the coach in waiting for a while. Mack said he thinks, because that was his idea, that he brought some of the speculation about when he's going to step aside or retire upon himself. He said because that gave people the impression that I was only going to be here another year or 2 or 3 and I was going to retire. He said that wasn't necessarily the case. Will Muschamp, the idea was he was going to stay for as long as Mack wanted him to stay, as long as Mack wanted to be the head coach. Mack's only 61 years old.
And he's a competitor. That's what he said. I'm not a quitter. I'm a competitor. And there's no way I'm leaving. It's easy to leave when things are tough.
Nick Rose kicks off. And another touchback, his 6th of the night. Coming up at the half, stay tuned for John Saunders, Jesse Palmer in the Capital One halftime report. All the scores and highlights from this busy and important day of college football action.
And if you're Baylor, you're telling yourself you're not out of it. We come get a few stops, we'll take a knee, go in and adjust and try to make some type of adjustment on the defensive side of the ball.
You don't take a knee here, do you? You attack, don't you?
Oh, minute 6 to go. I'm sorry. I got a little carried away. It was my bad. It happens once. Won't happen again. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah. In this game, every time you get the ball, you better try to score. They try to surprise Texas with the run. Salidi gets 8, but now the clock's going to run under a minute to go in the half. Only one timeout left for Baylor. DeMarco Cobbs made the tackle.
I'm looking for Terrence Williams, who singled up down here against Andre Diggs.
Florence keeps, has a seam, and goes out of bounds at the 50-yard line, chased out by Michael Thompson. 17-yard run by Florence, who's the leading rusher tonight for the Baylor Bears. 59 yards rushing on 5 carries.
So if you're Baylor, you're always in it. So effective offensively. Again, Terrence Williams down here, and a little bit quiet.
Aaron Jones, you saw the kicker warming up. His season long is 44 yards. After the play fake, Florence takes off running again. Vaccaro takes him down with help from Cobbs. It's a first down to the 39-yard line. Still 35 seconds to go in the half. Career long for Jones is 50. Only about 56 from right here. 5 wide receivers. Florence under pressure, got it off. Caught by Terrence Williams. First down to the 19. Adrian Phillips tackled him from behind and might have saved a touchdown.
Yeah, he has to be a factor. He's too good. Just biding their time. It's a tough matchup for Diggs.
4th catch of the night. That one good for 20 yards. To the sideline. Lanier Sampson trying to keep him in bounds, but Carrington Bindum could not. He got out of bounds at the 12-yard line. 10 seconds to go. 1 timeout still in the pocket for Art Briles.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you take your shot into the end zone now. If not, don't make a bad decision and force some type of throw. Go ahead and take your shot.
Taking a long time to get this play in, but as you see, still plenty of time on the play clock. Fake handoff to Salubi to the back of the end zone, and it's incomplete. Terrence Williams caught it, but he was out of bounds. And what will Art Briles do now? 5 seconds to go.
Thompson does a good job coming up and helping on the double and getting that hand in there. Strong hands by Williams by still holding on to the ball, and I like the call here.
They're going to kick the field goal. Aaron Jones, 29-yarder. And it is good on the final play of the half. And bear in mind that Baylor will get the ball first in the second half. Texas 352 yards of offense in the half. And they lead 42-31. Here's Quint Kesnick.
Coach, how has your team responded?
Well, I think the team's responded well. They're playing hard. They're playing the second best offense in the country, and our offense is scoring, and it seems to be the defense that can get a stop in the Big 12 anymore. So we got the turnover, and that really helped us. I hated we gave up the 3 points here because they get the ball to start the second half, but both teams are playing hard.
You've been in these shootouts before. Knowing what you've learned from the past games, what will you emphasize at halftime?
It's going to be a stop on defense, and the offense has to keep playing. Probably be won by a turnover and a kick again.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Combined 628 yards and 73 points for these two teams. Stay tuned for John Saunders, Jesse Palmer, and the Capital One halftime report right after these messages.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC.
Welcome you back to ABC Saturday Night Football, presented by Windows 8. Just about ready for the start of the second half here in Austin, Texas. The Longhorns leading the Baylor Bears 42-31, had nearly a 2-to-1 edge in time of possession. 352 yards of offense for Texas in the half. It was basically a back and forth game, the teams trading scores, but Nick Florence threw an interception. Texas defense also came up with a stop. Every stop is precious in this game. And it's a 2-score game as we begin the second half. But Baylor will get the ball first as Nick Rose kicks off. And the ball fell off the tee. Not a lot of wind here in the stadium tonight, but just enough to nudge it. Gives us the time to put Chris Spielman's handsome face on TV. What do you look for in the second half?
Well, Manny Diaz is known and has the reputation for being great at halftime adjustments, and they have to have a halftime adjustment. As Mac Brown talked about it, getting a stop. Boy, that would take the air out of the wind of the sails of the Baylor Bears if they get a stop on this first possession. Then on offense for Texas, just keep running the football. Baylor, bring 9 guys up there, put your corners on an island, and hope they don't go deep.
So here comes Nick Rose. Done a great job kicking off. He might be a little leg weary. Antoine Goodley staggers across the 24. Stayed on his feet for a while, but Duke Thomas finally got him down. Here's the Pacific Life game summary. Nation's leading passer Nick Florence been a dual threat tonight. Nice job with his feet and with his arm. And Joe Berger on his 4 rushing touchdowns.
Big credit to that Texas offensive line as they went back to work. Got physical. It's paying off.
Lawrence 11 out of 15, 2 touchdowns. He did have that interception that hurt. Threw for 164 yards in the half. Jared Salubi around right end. Chased across the boundary by DeMarco Cox. Here's Quinn.
Art Briles coming out of his locker room. It was very relaxed, Art Briles, considering the score. One thing he emphasized to me, the importance of this first drive. The other thing he said, this is just one half of football. They understand the nature of these shootouts. Good news for Coach Briles. Tevin Reese back on the field at the inside receiver position.
It's interesting. A lot of times you see the player with his uniform largely off. They don't come back, but he did. Terrence Williams, the intended receiver, flag thrown as Andre Diggs had the coverage. That's been an ongoing battle all night, and they've each had their victories.
And Quandre will get physical, and again, I cannot understand. Quandre can help himself.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 6. The penalty will be enforced at the spot of the foul. First down.
By position. Right there, his head's in the backfield, so he's late breaking on the ball. And Terrence Williams is such a big body, but he knows he's coming inside because he's lined up right by the sidelines.
That he's going to go to the concession stand. Tevin Reese back in action, and with a catch and a first down into Texas territory at the 48-yard line. 14-yard gain.
Bugaboo by Texas defense right there. Alignment and assignment. Tevin Reese, nobody covered down. Nobody was within 5 yards of him when he caught the ball. Mental error.
Baylor's approaching 300 yards of total offense here in the opening minute of the third quarter. They're 295. Florence pulls it down. He's in trouble and dropped for a loss of 2. Taken down by Steve Edmond. Baylor Bears had a season low 432 yards of offense last week against TCU. They had been above 500 yards of offense in each of the previous 10 games dating back to last year.
That's a good point by Art Briles. I mean, it's not like they're going to panic. They're in this game every week, these shootouts.
Most notably that 70-63 loss at West Virginia. And the Mountaineers set all kinds of school records. They had 807 yards against Baylor. Salubi, the run after the catch down to the 43-yard line, will be 3rd down and 4.
Kendall Thompson did a good job, Sean, in open space. Part of defending this offense is making tackles in space. He certainly did that. Texas is confused defensively with the lineup.
And late substitutions. And they are now in position. 4-man rush. Florence has time, throws. Incomplete. Pretty tight coverage again by Andre Diggs on Terrence Williams.
And that's a corner. This is what he's going to do. He's going to get physical, and he's playing on the inside. You see that? Because he knows where the alignment is. He's outside, and Quandre Diggs did get away with a little bit of an early hit.
Maybe they just got tired of throwing the flags on him. Looks like Texas was offside there. Could be a free play. The flag is down. Florence lost the football. Was poked out by Alex Okafor. This is probably going to be a moot point. Baylor indicating they got it back, and even if they did, it would go over on downs. Unless it is an offside penalty as it appeared against Texas.
Yeah, usually it's of a legal procedure. They'll stop the play. Offsides, they let the play go, and the offense has a free play. A break here for the Baylor Bears.
Offside. Defense. Number 80. 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
Huge penalty. Keeps the drive alive for Baylor.
Okafor right there at top, trying to get off on an early snap count, trying to time it up. 4th down, that's one thing you do not want to do. That's a giveaway. And Baylor's offense doesn't need any help getting possessions.
Okafor has had a terrific senior year. There are only 9 scholarship seniors on this Texas team. Florence wants the deep ball, and it is caught by Terrence Williams. Inbounds inside the 10-yard line. They'll mark it at the 6. First and goal, a beautiful throw by Nick Florence.
And Nick Florence is on time and on target. Terrence Williams is a big-time player working on Diggs, who has pretty decent coverage. But you see, Williams got a little push there, created separation.
32-yard gain. Florence lost the football. Free in the end zone and recovered by Baylor. Jordan Niver falls on it for a touchdown for the Baylor Bears. Kenny Vaccaro punched the ball out. But Niver, the tight end, was in the right place.
The play into the end zone, recovered by the offense, touchdown.
Huge break for Baylor.
They're going to go for 2. They want to get within a field goal right now. Offense still on the field for Art Briles.
Terrence Williams lined up inside. So you have to think that he's going to be his target. He's matched up on Quandre Diggs.
They try for 2. It's a blitz, and it's batted down. Looked like Steve Edmond, the linebacker, swatted it. So Baylor gets 6. Art Briles talked to Quint about the importance of this opening drive, and they got the touchdown with a little luck. 12:21 to go, third quarter.
Presented by Vizio.
Beautiful look from the MetLife blimp. Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium. The attendance tonight is 101,353, the 5th largest crowd in the history of this stadium. They set the stadium record earlier this year for that matchup against West Virginia when both teams were ranked in the top 10. Both the Mountaineers and Longhorns have fallen on hard times since then. 5-point lead for Texas. Aaron Jones kicks off. DJ Monroe won't take it out. This week on ESPN's Monday Night Football, an NFC rivalry is renewed as the Detroit Lions head into Soldier Field to take on the Chicago Bears. Lions-Bears, Monday Night Football on ESPN, 8:30 Eastern Time, with coverage beginning at 6:30, with Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's. You played in that rivalry.
Wow, it's a great rivalry. The only thing I remember, we had a chance to win the game. Jim Harbaugh throws a pass. I drop it. Sort of sealed the victory, and of course I dropped the interception. Yeah.
Wow.
Not that I've ever forget that.
I was going to say, I'm glad you've gotten over it. Jay Johnson, and a good tackle by Eddie Lackey, Jr. from Murrieta, California. He's a junior college transfer. Texas did well rushing the ball, and they have 182 rush yards, which matched their season high for a half. They also had 182 in the first half at Ole Miss in their big win there, 66-31.
Bringing Bergeron into the game and maybe try a little north-south running as opposed to that east and west.
Ash out of the pistol. On target to Jackson Shipley. Out of bounds with a first down. Taken across by Darius Jones, the boundary corner.
It's not bad by Darius Jones. I mean, you have to be concerned with getting beat deep. Not a bad idea. They're going to commit to the run. So when you do that, in order to protect the middle of the field, you have to have your corners, play off and inside. Safeties are starting to ease up a little bit. They're about 8 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Baylor defense playing without starting cornerback KJ Morton, done for the night with a groin injury. Jonathan Gray dropped for loss. Back at the 37. Eddie Lackey again. Then a nice start to this half.
You know, one thing, Sean, what they're doing, the linebackers now are penetrating. They were kind of flowing. Instead, now they're attacking downhill. Two things that does. You can shoot through that gap, and it takes the double teams off your defensive linemen earlier. So now they become players and getting involved in the tackles. Good adjustment by Phil Bennett.
Loss of 4, 2nd and 14. Jeremy Hills comes in and running back. He's a good pass receiver, and they try to screen it to him, and it's incomplete. Lackey right there again.
Lackey's having a series. That's what you do. You challenge your guys. These kids are tough kids. They're competitors. Reads the screen, splits between the offensive linemen, and is there to cover it even if it's caught. Now, this is Baylor's problem down. Last week, gave up 4 touchdowns to TCU on 3rd downs, 3rd and longs. This is an issue for them all year.
Texas is 8 out of 10 on 3rd down tonight, so it's 64%. 3rd down defense, worst in the country, is actually getting worse with this effort so far tonight. Only a 3-man rush. Ash throws, and it's dropped. Mike Davis slipped down and couldn't catch it, so a break for the Baylor defense. Despite the fact they dropped 8 into coverage, Davis was wide open, and he couldn't catch it.
Well, again, they're giving him plenty of cushion, which is fine. Joe Williams a little gun shy, and this is the ball that's poorly thrown, although Davis has to make that catch. It was kind of lofted out there. He just missed the throw, but in fairness, he's a big-time receiver at a big-time school. Hit your hands, catch the football.
Just the 2nd punt for Alex King. Of course, he had one go through his hands at a high snap early in the game. Levi Norwood dropped immediately. Well covered again by Duke Thomas. The Baylor Bears get a stop, and now they have a chance to take the lead in beautiful Austin, Texas.
UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you. And Verizon. Share everything. It's the plan that revolves around you. Only from Verizon.
Aerial coverage of tonight's game is being provided by the MetLife Blimp. See how MetLife can provide the coverage you need. MetLife, I can do this.
That's what Texas defense is saying right now. See if they can slow down Baylor.
Baylor defense came up with a stop. And now Nick Florence and the Baylor Bears, so they can drive, they can take the lead. Lasco Martin up the middle. Up to the 25. Gain of 8 on 1st down. Adrian Phillips made the tackle. Junior safety from Garland, Texas, their 3rd leading tackler for the season. Right up to the line. Nick Florence in the offense. And a 1st down. Lasco Martin gets 4 more. He bounced back from a torn ACL early in his Baylor career. Four receivers spread the formation almost literally from sideline to sideline. Across the middle, Levi Norwood stays on his feet. Got very close to a 1st down. He's the son of Brian Norwood, the associate head coach of the Baylor Bears football team.
Former defensive coordinator. Bringing on Cobbs, number 7 on the blitz. Good read by Florence and Norwood.
On 2nd and 1, Tevin Reese. Run after the catch, out of bounds, 1st down, 43-yard line.
You know, if you're Manny Diaz, you have to stay patient. Understand they're going to move the ball, keep the ball in front of you, make them make a mistake.
Power pistol formation here. It's Martin straight ahead. He got about 2. One of Art Briles' frustrations, we visited with him this week, is they haven't run the ball as well as they have over the years. They're trying to get the run going tonight. They have 134 yards rushing as a team. Average 169 for the year. Lawrence has his pass caught by Lanier Sampson, and he's wrestled down by Steve Edmond at the 38-yard line. Boy, Florence has been impressive watching him in person tonight, the way he throws the ball.
And with ball handling. First of all, they do the play action, but the route is run well by Sanders, pushing the corner, bind him up the field and working back to the football. By the time he turns around, Florence already has ball mid-flight, all set up by play action.
Lawrence is 17 for 22 for 250, now busting through Glasgow Martin. Ridden across the sideline by Carrington. Bynum, another first down for the Baylor Bears, who continue to get big chunks.
Well, and you get tired, you lose gap responsibility. Right there, they did have 2 guys in 1 gap. There's 1 back, 1 gap for all the defenders up front. Fatigue will make you make mental errors.
21-yard gain. Martin fighting for 2 yards. Tackled by Reggie Wilson, defensive end, who's in for the injured Jackson Jeffcoat. They lost some terrific players off that defense a year ago. Maybe the expectations were a little too high. They still thought they were going to be a lot better than this. But Manuel Acho, Keenan Robinson, Blake Gideon, Easton Randall, 4 starters off that defense last year are all in the NFL right now. 2nd down and 8. Lawrence. Flag thrown. He throws a touchdown, but there's a flag back in the offensive backfield. Lanier Sampson caught it, but he seems resigned to the fact that it's coming back.
Holding. Offense. Number 71. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Cameron Kaufhold, the guard, just the 2nd penalty of the night against Baylor.
And they have an unbalanced line right there, and you see Kaufhold with a hook and got beat inside, which he really didn't need to do because Florence was running to the outside, and he'd have a feel for that.
Emphasis on the hold there on Kaufhold.
Yes, thank you.
Senior, good students, already graduated with a degree in speech communications. Nick Florence is also already graduated. He's working toward an MBA after he got his economics degree last December. 2nd and 18. He fires, and the receiver hits stopped. It's well over his head.
There's the misread by the receivers, which early in the first half, the result was an interception. That time they got away with one because the result was an incomplete pass. There's a confusion between Daryl Stoneham and Williams.
Daryl Stoneham's in his first year at Baylor, transfer from Michigan, still learning the offense. 3rd down and 18. They are in field goal range. Baylor 0 for 3 on 3rd down tonight. Came in at 47% for the year. 5 wide receivers for Nick Florence. Plenty of time. Throws to the end zone. It's caught, but out of bounds. Lanier Sampson took it down and took a pretty good hit. Josh Turner and Carrington Bynum had double coverage.
First of all, what a throw. I mean, to fit it into that window, and the idea to almost catch that football, and did catch it. But coverage and coming out over to help is Josh Turner, who's had an impact game tonight with some impact plays. Helps his buddy out right there.
Well, the field goal unit is on the field. The officials are sorting something out. Sampson is injured. That's the reason for the delay. That would be a loss if he cannot continue. Very good player. They have 4 players on this team who have more than 1,000 career receiving yards.
It says something about Nick Florence too. The confidence to make that throw and put it where it needed to be.
Here's Aaron Jones. Try a 42-yarder, 1 for 1 tonight. Hit from 29.
The ruling on the field was an incompleted pass. The previous play is under further review.
Good job of going up and catching the ball, and clearly lands out of bounds with an assist from Josh Turner from a safety position.
Josh Turner's been pretty impressive tonight, don't you think?
Yeah, he had the tackle for loss. He backed that up with the interception, and there saves the touchdown by coming over and making sure he's out of bounds. What are we reviewing?
Not quite sure. Bryles is hoping he gets a call here. 56-year-old head coach. Here we go.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Incompleted pass.
About Art Briles and what a good job he's done. There's got to be an emphasis on recruiting defense and recruiting athletes on defense. That's got to be the main focus if they ever want to get to the level that they want to get to, where they think they should be.
All right, a 42-yard try now. This will get them within 2 points. Zach Northern is the snapper. Brody Trahan the holder, and that one is good. Aaron Jones only 1 for 3 beyond 40 yards coming into tonight, but good from 42 rather there. Down with Chris Berman and the gang, and that is a large gang providing all the latest news and updates. And then at 11 a.m. on ESPN2, Robert Flores. Wow, does he ever sleep?
Yes,
He's
Row
with us
Flow.
tonight. Row Flow with Matthew Berry and Tim Hasselbeck. They'll give you all the information you need to get an edge in your fantasy league. Fantasy football now.
Say NFL is crazy, isn't it? It's, every week I watch, it's like, okay, I don't know anything. I can't predict anything. What the Giants did to the 49ers was that was something. Then the 49ers, of course, bounced back. A lot of good teams.
A lot of parity in the NFL. 11 teams, 3-3. Here's Aaron Jones. Baylor's outscored Texas here in the third quarter, 9-0. They get within 2 points. It's one of my fantasies to be able to throw it back to Robert Flores. Robert?
All right, Sean, I'm here to make dreams come true. Sports Center right now presented by HP. Number 21 Cincinnati upset tonight. Undefeated going into their game against Toledo, but Jordan Hayden, the interception of Munchie Legault, and that seals the deal as Toledo improves to 5-1 at home all time against teams in the top 25. Sean, back to you.
Just don't march into Toledo. They march out with a win.
Matt Campbell does a heck of a job for the Rockets.
For those who don't know, what does he do?
He's the head coach.
There you go. Deep man wide open. Mike Davis had to wait for it for a moment. Gave the defense a chance to rally, and they'll take him down inside the 10. Darius Jones and then Chance Casey took down Davis, who got behind the defense, and if Ash had thrown it a bit longer, it was a touchdown.
Darius Jones, remembers, replacing K.J. Morton. Look at his head and his eyes. It's in the backfield. You have a wide receiver pressing you right down the field, knowing you're not having any safety help. You got to get out of your back pedal, get sprinting. It's a mental error again by the Baylor Bear defense.
67-yard gain. Texas looking for its first score of the second half. Bergeron, his 5th touchdown of the night.
What you see right here is just basically cut off. You have number 90 for the Baylor Bear defense. Javonte McGee getting cut off on that pinch move. He's got to get down inside to the C gap. He was not allowed to get to the C gap, which created a wide open hole for Bergeron.
He's now 1 touchdown away for the single game rushing touchdown mark at Texas. Ricky Williams had 6 in a game twice. Career high though for Bergeron, and the lead back to 9 for UT. Back to a 2-score lead now for Texas. Among those in the huge crowd, the actress Natalie Portman, filming a movie here in Austin. As you can see, shooting some scenes, we are told, here tonight.
Is that the actor? I don't know. Danny Bonaducci.
Don't know who he is, but he's a lucky fella, I can tell you that. Nick Rose kicks off. Antoine Goodley brings it out. Up the numbers to the 21-yard line. Duke Thomas made another tackle. Apparently Natalie is a Texas fan.
See if Texas can adjust now. Again, you can't panic, and Manny Diaz has to coach where he doesn't get frustrated, although it's a frustrating situation.
I'd like to talk about the movie for a little while longer, if you don't mind. Nick Florence has rushed for 74. He's thrown for 250. Nation's leader in total offense, having another good total offense night. Blake Seastrunk transferred from Oregon. Got 6. Cedric Reed, the sophomore defensive end from Cleveland, Texas, made the tackle.
Just get the no panic feeling from Nick Florence in that Baylor offense, who's having some personnel issues. He got it straightened out.
He's a senior, 4-year senior, never had a redshirt year. They were going to try to redshirt him last year, but RG3 got injured in a game against Texas Tech near the end of the year, the 11th game, and Florence really won over a lot of his teammates and the coaching staff when he went along with taking off the red shirt. He played very well to help them win that game against Texas Tech.
Substitute. We'll give them an opportunity to finish their substitution.
It's because Baylor was able to substitute, so the defense is allowed, and proper call made by the officials.
When these teams started going up tempo, it was a nightmare for the defenses to substitute. But Manny Diaz talking about now the defense is so used to it, the administration of it is a little bit easier. You can substitute, but you can't always stop it. Glasgow Martin ripped through the middle of the defense, cross midfield to the 48 of Texas, a 26-yard run.
Well, again, it has 2 guys getting caught inside. Cobbs, the linebacker, caught inside.
Terrence Williams, a long throw horizontally to Williams, and a quality gain, although they're going to mark him out back at the 41-yard line. Gain of 7.
You almost get the feeling, Sean, they're setting up that screen with Terrence Williams, but they're going to send somebody down the middle of the field after they pump it to him.
Whoa. Snap, bounce back to Florence, and he's tackled for a loss by Adrian Phillips. He's one of the Texas defenders who was singled out in the papers here this week. He, Carrington, Bindum, specifically mentioned in the Austin paper for having a particularly disappointing season on a defense that has been a huge disappointment collectively.
It's 2-down territory, absolutely. So they have 2 downs to get 4 yards. It's the mindset of the Baylor Bear offense.
Third down and 4. Hot high snap. He did well to catch it. That long throw gives the defense time to rally to the ball, and Diggs ankle tackled Terrence Williams for no gain. 4th and 4.
Good job by the physical Diggs, holding on for dear life. The benefit was he came in and he wrapped him up as opposed to bumping him, which allowed him to secure the tackle of Terrence Williams.
4th down and 4. Seastrunk, the running back, wants to make sure he knows the plays. They're running out of time. They snapped it with 6, and it's a first down to Lanier Sampson. He lunges forward near the 35-yard line. Mac Brown complaining. I don't know if they thought there was a pick or something resembling it, but it did not go as an infraction. And a 9-yard gain for Briles and the Bears.
I think he's yelling at his DBs. He's yelling at Manny Diaz right there. Why wasn't everybody covering him down? That's why I circled him before the play. There was nobody within 10 yards of him.
They didn't need a pick when they're wide open. Here's Tevin Reese spinning free. Late flag thrown downfield. The play stands. It's a first down to the 19. Josh Turner and Carrington Bindum made the tackle.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 18. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Jordan Iver, the tight end, transfer from Stanford.
Let's see. You see him right here getting Cobbs from behind. And that's one where you can block a guy from behind, Sean, if you just kind of run up his back and throw your hands up like, oh, I'm not trying to hit him, and you just bump him. That can be a very effective block, and it's walking that line a little bit.
Unnecessary too. Far enough away from the play.
Yeah.
Manny blocked in the back. Wasn't going to make the tackle, it seemed. However, it nullifies a nice gain. 1st and 13. Diggs plays off. Can't make the tackle on Williams, but Kendall Thompson did.
And that's an automatic read. Anytime they see that corner 8 yards off, he's just going to rise and throw, no matter what the play is called. It's something that they put in their playbook and have automatic adjustment to.
Under 3 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Texas leading by 9, but Baylor's on the move again. 2nd and 6. Glasgow Martin bounced off the first hit and was tackled by Cedric Reed short of the 1st down. Short gain to the 27-yard line. 3rd down and 4.
Think about blitzing right here for Manny Diaz. Nothing. Look at all the space created. Look at all the space up top.
Very long throw there. I think Diggs is feeling as the ball travels so far, he has time to respond. Deflected pass and incomplete, intended for Antoine Goodley. They haven't converted on 3rd down tonight. They're going to try again on 4th down.
I just saw Terrence Williams throw his hands up in frustration because he just walked out there and said, "Give me the ball."
Boy, he's playing way off again. So they throw it and their whistles to stop the play. Goodley would have had a 1st down.
Prior to the snap, charge timeout, Texas.
Sean, that was an alignment mistake again, just like the previous 4th down that they converted. Nobody was on the receiver. 4th and 4. You have to get up and challenge them a little bit, or they're just going to rise and throw. You fall down, you get a 1st down.
Well, Manny Diaz was talking yesterday. That's one of the many places where they missed Jordan Hicks, the linebacker. He was really the leader of the defense who relayed the defenses to the rest of the team and got them lined up correctly. And now you have a younger, less experienced player like Steve Edmond who's trying to do that. And as Manny said, when you play offenses like this, there's no rest. There's no time to clear your mind. You know, as he said, the questions come very quickly, and you always have to have the right answer.
But somebody has to step up, and that somebody to get people lined up either has to be Vaccaro, it has to be Diggs, Thompson. Somebody has to step up, and it's pretty simple. 4th and 4, you can't be 15 yards off a guy, and you have to cover down the inside receiver. There's just rise and throw like they've been doing. Let's see what their alignment is here off the timeout.
And now they've decided to kick a field goal and try to make it a 1-score game again. Of course, they went for 2 earlier, which seemed to us to be the right play, but the fact that they didn't get it means now it's not a 1-score game. Aaron Jones from 44. Right down the center. So he's had 2 40-yard plus field goals here in the 3rd quarter. It's back to a 1-score game with 2:12 to go in the 3rd quarter. 49-43. 5 races left in the chase. They're heading to Kansas tomorrow. Brad Keselowski still the leader. Clint Boyer gaining ground with his win last week in Charlotte. Keselowski, Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, 1, 2, and 3. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup tomorrow at Kansas, presented by Ram. Starting with NASCAR Sprint Cup Countdown, brought to you by Tire Rack at 1 Eastern Time on ESPN. There are the top 5. Tony Stewart's 8th. Jeff Gordon 9th.
Robbins Racing.
I'll tell you who would be good. NASCAR is our spotter, Craig Bushy. He has what we call a heavy foot.
The Oklahoma fans getting down here.
They're sticking around. They enjoyed last week so much in Dallas. Wanted to come watch another Texas game.
It's almost like they're provoking beat Texas with the Oklahoma stuff sitting right in the middle of our.
People here are very nice, though. Austin's such a great city, and people in this part of the world are so friendly. Aaron Jones, a good kick. They're a little frustrated. He can't run it out. Here's Quint Kesnick.
Well, speaking of frustration, you really get a sense for that on the Baylor defensive sideline, where cornerback Darius Jones came off after getting burnt by Mike Davis deep, caught an earful from defensive coordinator Phil Bennett. You have no other responsibilities, he said. Gave it about a 2-minute break. He went back after Jones. Jones turned to him and says, "It's over." Bennett turned to him and said, "Don't tell me when it's over." But Coach Bennett just patted him on the back of the helmet before he took the field. So frustration and tempers.
That's the adjustment we talked about. What Phil has to do is alleviate thought from the corner's mind and say, look, man, deep is the deepest. That easy.
He's a new guy. He was number 7. Yep. You can see he's changed to number 24. So maybe it's a fresh start. I'm told his jersey ripped, and that's why they changed it. Ash got walloped by Bryce Hager, but a good run by Ash to the 32. 7 yards, first down, 2 minutes to go, third quarter. Second down and 3.
Good job by Ash of tucking and running. It's the first time that we've seen that happen all night, and almost takes a shot on the wrist. Hager coming up, but sometimes you need to get into that groove a little bit of running football. Take the first hit so you know you can run it and keep running it when you have the opportunity.
Well, you got a healthy piece of Ash there at the 32-yard line, but David bounced back quickly. Ash down the seam, incomplete, intended for M.J. McFarland, who was spinning around and the ball went over his head.
Right there, we talked about it again. It was Hager who's got to carry the tight end down the seam. I saw Phil Bennett right there.
Here's third down. And the way this game's going, you just get the occasional stop. It's huge. Third down and 3, a minute and a half to go in the quarter. 3-man rush, and they weren't even trying to pursue the passer. They were coached to do just that. They get your arms up, get in the passing lane, and Nick Johnson, the senior from Waco, batted it down. Outstanding effort and way to execute the technique. You said it, Sean. Don't rush. Get into throwing lanes on a 3-step chart, because Marquise Goodwin was sitting right there wide open, if not for the deflection. There's Phil Bennett talking about Hager. Please carry the tight end down the middle of the field. I'm telling you, that's what he's telling me. Alex King. Very good punter, averaging over 47 yards per punt per year. This wasn't his best. And Levi Norwood came running up to make a fair catch at the 32. 35-yard punt, and now a chance for the lead if the Baylor Bears can drive down and score. King wears that number 15. That's in memory of his dad, Michael King. Passed away last year. He played college football at Hampton, Sydney, in Virginia in the 60s. Was a quarterback and wore number 15. Tragically, his dad took his own life last October. Alex says he thinks of his dad constantly. He's an orthopedic surgeon who got arthritis, was very frustrated. He couldn't continue to work, became depressed, and sadly took his own life. Lasco Martin leading out to the 39-yard line. Alex Okafor made the tackle. But 5 on first down for Baylor. Well, they need to get a little bit more big inside. Right now they have Cobbs playing the middle linebacker, and here comes Edmond on cue, number 33. And they snap it. Or they're going to give him time to substitute
Texas was
again.
Attempting a matchup. This is a do-over.
The mulligan. When offense substitutes, the defense has to have the proper amount of time to match the substitution. As soon as they started running the middle, inserted Edmond, number 33, exit number 7, Cobbs. More stout in the middle to stop the run. Nick Florence hands it off to Martin. He's been a good inside runner. He comes down about a yard short of the first down at the 42-yard line. It'll be third down and 1. It might be the last play of the third quarter. They don't have to snap it again. At the pace they are going to come right back up. And Martin has the first down, then fumble the football. And Michael Thompson has it for Texas. Into some question as to whether or not Martin was down. But it looks like the ruling is a fumble and a turnover, and it is. Well, it's killing Baylor the past 3 weeks. Helmet right on the football, and it's a good job of Edmond. Why he was inserted into the ball game to be a factor. Puts his helmet on the ball, wraps up. Watch number 33. Bam, wraps him up, helmet on the football. And Michael Thompson secures the cover. clearly the fumble. Second turnover of the game for Baylor. They haven't had a takeaway again. They're coming up perhaps on 3 straight games without a takeaway. Last 2 games are the first 2 under Phil Bennett in 2 years that they haven't had at least 1 takeaway. Ooh, Shipley got spun around. Josh Wilson made the tackle. Well, when you're giving up a lot of yards and points, it would certainly help the cause if you can take it away every now and then. They're -9 in the last 3 games. End of the 3rd quarter. 6-point lead for Texas in Austin. We welcome you back to ABC Saturday Night Football, presented by Windows 8. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, Quint Kesnick, our producer Bo Garrett, director Mike Roy, our terrific ESPN and ABC crew. Delighted to have you with us. 1-score game as we go to the 4th quarter. Texas and Baylor, each trying to end 2-game losing streaks. Dajay Johnson went in motion. Jonathan Gray probes the middle. Comes up a yard shy of the first down. Tackled by Terrence Lloyd, the defensive end. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Here's a look at tonight's UPS efficiency update. And Texas very efficient on 3rd down all year long, but even more efficient tonight. 67% against the worst 3rd down defense in the country, the Baylor Bears. They go to their wild formation. Direct snap to Jonathan Gray, and he has a first down and much more. They're down to the 29 in field goal range now, and a field goal would be huge to get it back to a 2-score game. It's an 8-yard gain for Mack Brown and the Longhorns.
And the luxury of having depth at the running back position. One thing Texas does have with Hills, Gray, Bergeron, and also Dajay Johnson.
Without Malcolm Brown today, was their leading rusher last year and is an important part of their running back rotation. But he's out with injury tonight. Bergeron is the running back. 1 more touchdown. He'll tie the single-game rushing touchdown record. He was tripped up by Josh Wilson, but he got 7 on first down.
Sean, again, it's all about gap integrity. We're going to have 2 guys in 1 cap. Watch Eddie Lackey right here. He's going to get caught outside with the on-block player, the safety, coming up. Now take a look. All he has to do is bounce it to the safety, who's the on-block guy, and he makes a tackle. He's out here. He needs to be inside. He makes the play. The safety makes the play for a 2-yard gain as opposed to a 7-yard gain. Assignments and alignments, man, all day.
Bergeron again picks his way to the first down. More to the 17-yard line. Bryce Hager and Ahmad Dixon made the tackle. First down, Texas. 5 touchdowns, a career high. He's averaging 6 yards per rush.
You know, if I'm Texas, I don't think about taking this play clock down to like about 3 or 4 seconds before I snap the ball.
Wild formation again with Jonathan Gray taking the direct snap. True freshman. Smacked by Bryce Hager at the 15-yard line. Gray had one of the great high school careers in the history of high school running backs. First team All-American. Mr. Football in the United States last year, is chosen by ESPN. 205 touchdowns in high school, the all-time national record. 16 100-yard rushing games last year, also the national record. Ash back in. Jeremy Hills, the running back. He's good in the pass game and in pass protection.
I like the screen with Jeremy.
Ash, they throw a screen to Mike Davis. Touchdown, Texas.
Number 55, Espinoza, the center, gets out, pushes a Baylor defender inside, No pursuit from the outside because everybody was chasing Jeremy Hill on the setup fake screen to the left. Come back with the screen to the right. Well done, and a good call by Brian Harsin, the offensive coordinator.
46 yards after the fumble recovery. 15 yards the touchdown to Mike Davis. And the extra point good by Anthony Farah. First touchdown pass of the night thrown by David Ash. Fourth of the year for Mike Davis. Longhorns by 13. Ability. Ask for it from your TV service provider. They're getting ready for Texas Game Day Final on the set. Glad to hear that Longhorn Network is starting to get carried on more and more cable systems throughout this part of the country. Dave Brown here tonight. He runs Longhorn Network. He and his colleagues doing an excellent job. Nick Rose kicks off. Levi Norwood a chance to bring it back. And well covered by Texas. Norwood taken down by Chet Moss at the 22. Here's Robert Flores.
Hey, Sean, here's another nominee for the AT&T All-America Player of the Week, and it is Kansas State quarterback Colin Klein. Mr. Coach Klein, slap hands, slap hands. 7 total touchdowns. That's a career high as Kansas State rolled 55-14 over West Virginia. Text vote to 34763.
I think the next time Joe Tessitore comes out with that Heismanology, here's your leader, Colin Klein.
So, tough player, and now he's throwing the football effectively, which makes him that much more dangerous. Plus, they're playing a little defense in Wildcat land.
Tevin Reese takes the quick throw from Nick Florence. Got about 7. Well, there's the difference in the game. The 2 turnovers. Baylor's turned it over twice. Texas scored touchdowns after each, and it's a 2-touchdown game. Lake Seastrunk, running room down the far sideline. Popped out of bounds by Michael Thompson. Speaking of K-State, not sure who I would pick as the preseason, the midseason coach of the year, Bill Snyder or Bill O'Brien. Because to me, they've both done remarkable coaching jobs.
Right now, either or, I would have to go with Bill O'Brien, I believe.
Given everything that he has to deal with at Penn State. Lawrence taken down back at the 41-yard line. Malcolm Brown, the true freshman, and Alex Okafor combined with a sack. Kendall Thompson there as well. Lost to the 41. They need to make the Texas 46.
It's the only time
first down.
Only saw a little bit of panic in Nick Florence's eyes. Everybody was covered and he had hesitation, but he did protect the football.
It's a lateral to Seastrunk. Did well to stay in bounds and slides down across the 50. Looks like they're going to mark him out. Maybe we gave him too much credit for staying in bounds. They're going to move the ball all the way back to the 47-yard line of Baylor. That is a rushing play. It was a lateral. This is in charge of the stats, deeming it a run. 3rd down 7.
A little bit of confusion with Texas as far as coverage goes.
The player running off the field. No, just coming over to line up.
You have a wide receiver, Goodley, on a linebacker in Cobbs. Down here at the bottom of the screen.
Kevin Reese went in motion.
There it is.
Lawrence, long throw too high over the head of Goodley with Cobbs in coverage. Here's another 4th down. They absolutely have to convert.
That's the matchup that you want, and Cobbs actually did a pretty decent job of maintaining some good position, protecting the deep half of the field, and not a bad break.
Well, they haven't converted a 3rd down tonight. They're 0 for 8 on 3rd down.
I don't know if I punt it, Sean.
I wouldn't either.
No, I think I go for it. You're down.
Yeah, I mean, you can't rely on your defense.
I don't understand this at all. Spencer Roth punts. It's going to roll down to the 15-yard line. Down by Clay Fuller. Interesting decision by Art Briles. Down by 2 touchdowns. Awful defense and under 10 minutes to go.
Presented by Windows. The Buick Verano. Unexpected luxury in a car this size. And John Hancock. Talk with your financial advisor.
These Texas fans haven't been smiling the last couple of weeks. Reason to smile tonight. Leading Baylor by 13, and the Longhorns get the ball back after Baylor elected to punt. 9:57 to go. Ash out of the pistol. Joe Bergeron dragged Darius Jones out to the 29-yard line. First down.
You know, you could say Phil Bennett, it's scheme. It's not scheme. Josh Wilson's coming in untouched, unblocked, ready to make a play. Just poor angles, and Joe Bergeron showing his burst of power. It has nothing to do with scheme. It's lack of execution right now, and frankly, a lack of talent on the Baylor defensive side of the ball. It's the way it is.
M.J. McFarland, the tight end, the motion man. Jay Johnson refuses to go down. 11 more. First down. There is a flag down. Bryce Hager and Darius Jones made the tackle.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 44. Penalty added to the end of the run, first down.
Again, we're going to go back and we'll see the face mask here by Hager. Tough kid hustling the football, just trying to make a play, catches the face mask. Why punt? There's no reason to punt. Your defense hasn't stopped them all night. There's not a rumor of them stopping them, so you have to go and try to score points. That gives yourself the best chance to win. That's my opinion, and it's one that I strongly believe in.
Jay Johnson in space. Good tackle by Joe Williams at the 38-yard line of Baylor. The second down, about 2.5. Texas done very well all night long on first down, almost 9 yards per first down play.
That's what coaches like to refer to as staying on schedule. Actually, that would be staying ahead of schedule with that type of yardage. And again, I want to go back and emphasize the details and run that shot clock down to 3. Keep that offensive Baylor off the field.
And they snapped it here with about 11. Jay Johnson has no running room. Oh, he's not going to go down. They never did get him down. Hey now. Crowd didn't like it, and Dixon's very lucky. That was very close to being way after the whistle and unnecessary roughness.
Frustration coming out, and frankly, there should be a flag right here. The whistle's blown, and watch the right hook.
Yeah, that should have been flagged. You can understand the frustration. Third down, big play here. Baylor needs a stop. They're out of field goal range, are the Texas Longhorns. 9 out of 13 on third down. David Ash and the Texas Longhorns. Bergeron, the running back. 3-man rush. Oh, the man was open. DJ Grant, and the pass was short. It is amazing when Baylor rushes 3, still how wide open the Texas receivers are.
And the reason being is the defenders have no idea where the sticks are. Phil Bennett addressed that. We address it. But until you could take it from the practice field, put it on the game field, they're so shell-shocked that they're going to get back and play 20 yards because they're afraid of the ball going over their head.
Well, Baylor defense has been much better here in the second half. There was plenty of room for improvement. Alex King, the punter. Fair catch made by Levi Norwood at the 6-yard line.
Another stop for the Baylor defense. But Nick Florence and the Bears really have to score in this drive, down by 13. Texas leading 56-43. 5 rushing touchdowns for Joe Bergeron of Texas, one shy of Ricky Williams' school record. And the Baylor defense has given them a chance. A much better performance here in the second half, but the last 2 possessions on offense for Baylor have ended with a fumble and a punt. Long field to drive here for Florence, starting with their own 6. Seastrunk. First down, 11-yard gain. Kenny Vaccaro, one of only 2 senior starters on the defense, along with Alex Okafor, made the tackle. Vaccaro thought long and hard about putting his name into the NFL at the end of last season. Projected as a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Came back to hope to improve his draft stock. Seastrunk banged down by Alex Okafor at the 20.
Guarantee you Texas is relieved to see Baylor running the football. They'll take that all day long.
I think Baylor's just trying to get to some workable field position. Now they have it, 2nd and 7. Florence running out of time, and it's incomplete off the hands of Lanier Sampson with Carrington Bindum in coverage.
Kenny Vaccaro just improved his draft status right there because he stuck on Tevin Reese man to man. That's what forced Florence to pull the ball down and basically throw it away.
Baylor running out of time to convert on 3rd down tonight. Still 0 for 8. Jared Salubi, the running back, to the right of Florence. Play clock almost all the way down. Levi Norwood has the first down. Out to the 28. They finally convert on 3rd down with 6.5 minutes to go. Vaccaro and Bindum made the tackle.
And if you're Texas, you really don't want to play prevent, but you certainly want to be aware of nothing going over the top. As you see, their 2 safeties are lined up 20 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Vaccaro plants Jared Salubi, to the delight of the crowd here.
I'm talking about, again, you want to be solid, but you also want to be smart. You can play tight coverage with your corners, and the safeties, Sean, you can see down there lined up 20 yards from the ball, making sure nothing over the top and helping against any deep threat that Baylor might throw at them. And they're backing up on the snap.
And a flag down and an illegal procedure penalty here against Baylor. The play won't count.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 2. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So what you do to work that is now you start working the middle of the field, because the safeties are not only are they deep, but they're out wide. Certainly aware of Terrence Williams. So now you attack the middle of the field, either with a running back coming down a seam or your inside receivers splitting those safeties. That's how you attack it.
5 wide receivers on 2nd and 11. Short throw, catch made by Terrence Williams, and he's driven back by Quandre Diggs. They continue their individual battle. Diggs is the younger brother of Quentin Jammer, who was a tremendous defensive back here at the University of Texas, now in the NFL. And they are very close. They're the only 2 children in their family. They have the same mom. He said Quentin's been like a dad to him, father figure. Here's Goodley with a good gain, attacking that middle of the field, as you suggest. DeMarco Cobbs tripped him up, but he's out to the 49-yard line. 17 yards and a first down.
We'll see Art Browse there. He's liking that play call.
Go.
But again, that area is wide open, and you just keep going there. Smart play by Texas also, protecting the deep ball.
Yeah, they're certainly making them use the time, but now here's a big gainer. Seastrom down at the 30-yard line.
That's the one benefit. If you do pop one through the middle, your safeties are so far back that they will not make a tackle for 15 yards. Before that play, they were holding up on the run.
Another gain of 20 or more given up by that Texas defense. That was a 21-yard run. Started at their own 6. Now they're at the Texas 30. Florence takes the check down, and Seastone's probably fortunate he didn't catch it, as he was likely to be dropped for a loss with Steve Edmond in the area. Nick Florence, 27 of 38 for 320 yards. 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. On 2nd and 10. Goodley across the middle. Tackled a yard shy of the first down by Steve Edmond.
Same play that they ran before, Sean, and they're trying to match up the linebacker on a wide receiver. Edmond did a good job of making a tackle.
Under 4 minutes to go. 3rd down and 2. And a seam on the far sideline for Lanier Sampson. Out of bounds at the 5. 1st and goal for the Baylor Bears. 17-yard gain.
Thank you. With the safeties deep like that, corners are playing off to protect the screens there. They get a hat on a hat. Sampson bursts through the little opening that was given.
Five catches for Sampson. Bryce Petty has come in at quarterback.
Question that too.
I don't understand this. I mean, unless there's something wrong with Florence. I mean, Florence has proven he's more than an adept runner. And, you know, he just marched down the field.
I guess the only thing you might consider is if Florence is going to run the football, he put it on the deck the last time into the end zone. I'm agreeing with you. I think he's still being there.
Petty in the game, and he hasn't warmed up. You know he's not going to throw it, so you pretty much tell the Texas defense either he's going to run it or somebody else is. Florence in trouble and taken down. Back at the 8-yard line. Cedric Reed. 3rd and goal, and the clock is ticking down to 2:40. All 3 timeouts left for Baylor.
I think you find Terrence Williams, who's on the inside right here. Now, the last time they were in this formation, they ran Terrence Williams here and Goodley underneath.
3rd and goal from the 8. Field goal does them no good. Lots of time off the clock. 14th play of this drive. Down the seam, caught by Williams. They're going to mark him down at the 1. The other players are thinking it was a touchdown. They're not going to get the call. They will stop the clock to move the chains. They get up to the line very quickly. Actually, it's 4th and goal. Pardon me, it's not a first down. 4th and goal. Florence, touchdown. Outstanding drive. Took a lot of time, but the touchdown was critical, and now Art Briles will have a decision to make. He does have all 3 timeouts. The onside kick. Hope your defense can get one more stop.
I think you have to. No, I think you have to. I think you have to onside kick it.
There are 3 timeouts. I mean, if you had a better defense, I think it'd be a more logical option to kick it deep and hope for a stop, but not with this defense.
Well, you kick it, you know, or you kick it deep and you just blitz and convert everybody into the run.
94-yard drive, 15 plays, but it took 5 minutes and 24 seconds. Florence, his 2nd rushing touchdown of the game. 6-point lead for Texas, 1:57 to go. College football day decision here for Art Briles. Down by 6, all 3 of his timeouts left, 1:57 to go. During the timeout, he had a lengthy conversation with Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator. Phil was holding up 3 fingers, seemed to be saying to Art Briles, go ahead and kick it deep. You have the 3 timeouts. We'll try to stop them, but it looks like they're going to onside kick with Chris Winkler. Doesn't ordinarily kick off out there. I don't think Art Briles has faith in the defense to make a stop. They do pooch it down the field.
So he is going to lean on the defense. Recovered by Quandre Diggs. We're hoping that ball was mishandled. Phil Bennett, of course, formerly a head coach. He's had to make these decisions himself.
Yeah, I understand it. I mean, they go with a little pooch kick maybe to catch him off guard, yet they put him back enough. We do have 3 timeouts. As a defense now, you commit everybody up there. Get your safeties up there about 7 yards. Understand that you're going to get a healthy dose of Bergeron, and you ask your guys to fight and somebody make a play. There's the safeties sneaking up there. How tight they are.
Bergeron. He got 7 on first down.
It doesn't matter if they're up there. But here, okay, that didn't work. So now what do? I start submarining the offensive line, taking the offensive line's knees out and trying to create a pile to leave some space for the safeties and linebackers to make a play.
Gary Mason, the injured player. Timeout called by Baylor. 1:52 left. Bergeron's up to 112 yards rushing. Here's a look at the BCS standings, brought to you by Tostitos entering today's action. Alabama #1 and another convincing win for them today at Tennessee. Same is true for Florida at home today. Hammering South Carolina, back-to-back losses for the Gamecocks now. And Oregon was impressive Thursday night, winning at Arizona State. Really all the teams up there at the top with pretty impressive performances. Notre Dame was in a tough game all day long at home today with BYU.
I look at Oregon State. They're still rolling around, not miss a beat with Cody Baz in there, a quarterback from Mannion. And the team that I like is #9, Oklahoma, who seemed to get kick-started when he went to Lubbock and beat a pretty darn good Texas Tech team.
We'll need some help, though, to get back into that national championship picture, but there is a long way to go. 2nd down and 3. First down would be enormous. Bergeron the ball. For a moment, looked like it might have come out. The crowd thought it had. Art Briles thought it had. Timeout called by Art Briles. Did it come loose? Yeah, it sure did. And he got it back.
Good bounce. Wow.
It would have been a fumble. He was not down.
All right, now look. Body language does not help, unfortunately, Coach. But here's what you got to do now. You think about it. If you're Baylor, you got to commit to stopping the run. If you're Texas, do you believe that Baylor's going to commit everything to stop the run? I do.
Yeah, I do too.
I run a little fake. I roll out David Ash. I give him the run option pass off of a bootleg. And sneak a guy out in the flat. If he's threatened, throw it. If not, keep it and get the first down, because they have to commit.
Well, this is the ball game, really. If they convert here and Baylor has just 1 timeout left, it's just about over. Phil Bennett's defense played a lot better in the second half. Perhaps something to build on. They don't want to build. They want to win this game. Chance to do it if they can make a stop here on 3rd and 1. Barrett Matthews to move tight end. It is Bergeron for a first down. Got tripped up by Eddie Lackey, who had penetration, but Bergeron stumbled forward for the first down that should put this one in the win column for the Texas Longhorns.
The best friend of a running back is often patience. Right there, Bergeron fought. The initial instinct just blasted up in there, took a little stutter step and let the hole develop outside, where he's able to burst through for the first down, excuse me.
Now they just want to make sure they hang on to the football. Texas has not turned it over. This will be 3 straight games without takeaway for the Baylor defense, a group that has excelled at taking the ball away over the last year plus under Phil Bennett. Well, barring a disaster for Mack Brown in Texas, this one should be in the win column, a win that they really need to have. You know, a lot of speculation all week long here about Mack Brown. Would they research his buyout, maybe buy him out at the end of the year, and this at least will kind of quiet all that stuff for a little bit.
Well, I think it was vital. It was vital for Baylor too, quite frankly, but for Mack Brown feeling that heat in the way they won. They came back after physically getting beat up. They come back and manhandle Baylor, which is not really a surprise, but you can talk about doing it, think you're going to do it, but to execute it is a credit to he and his staff. And I'll tell you, their defense played pretty well. They came up with turnovers. They gave up 607 yards. which needs to be improved on, but they came up with big plays and turnovers when they needed to, and they converted off the turnovers, which has been the key to the game.
People in this part of the country trying to figure out what's happened to Texas. We've talked a lot tonight about the offensive line play. It clearly needed to get better. They haven't had an offensive lineman drafted since 2008. To me, they've had very ordinary offensive lines at a school where generally they get a lot of the players they're trying to recruit. Ash kind of staggered down. You wonder if he turned his ankle. Baylor will use its final timeout. Not every game has a happy ending, but every Tuesday on ABC does. It's TV's most fantastic comedy. Tuesdays this fall. Don't miss the season premiere of Happy Endings. Tuesday, 9, 8 Central on ABC. Well, Texas, with this victory, would go to 5-2 overall and 2-2 in conference. Road games coming up. Kansas, they'll be a heavy favorite in that one. And then at Texas Tech, another big win today for the sons of Tommy Tuberville on the road at TCU. Exciting overtime game. One of the big stories of Big 12 day. Ash is hurt. He came up, looked like he was limping again.
Seth Daggy, big day, 7 touchdown passes. You and I saw him. We were both impressed with what he's capable of doing. And receivers at Texas Tech. Just so many different guys to go to.
Baylor now with 3 straight losses, still looking for their first Big 12 win of the season. They'll try to get it next week at Iowa State, and then they have Kansas at home. Tough schedule left.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's a little daunting.
Yeah. You wonder, if they don't play better defense, they're not going to be a bowl eligible team this year, you would think.
No. Same problem West Virginia's having.
And that'll do it. Sigh of relief for Mack Brown and the Texas Longhorns. Defense is still struggling, but again tonight they played one of the best offensive teams in the country. And they're giving up a lot of points and yards, but when you play the Oklahoma States and West Virginias,
he's not used to that.
Used to that by now.
Don't worry, Mac. I went under the table.
106 total points, 1,132 yards of offense combined, and Texas beats Baylor after losing to them the last 2 years. So it's not the first 3-game winning streak for Baylor in this rivalry. Here's Quint.
Coach, congratulations. What ultimately made the difference?
Oh, I think we forced a couple of stops, and then they didn't force as many stops. That's just the way Big 12 football has become. Proud of our guys. Tough game last week. Really bounced back. This was the West Virginia game. We just played better at the end.
Yeah, how do you qualify the way the kids bounce back? I mean, what stood out in that regard?
These are smart kids and they have a lot of character, and I loved our crowd tonight. Texas fans came out and they really supported this young team, and I thought the guys responded back to them. And coaches worked really hard this week. None of us were proud of last week, and now we got a chance to keep moving forward.
Congratulations. An important win, Sean.
Yes, indeed. Final score, Texas 56 and Baylor 50. Just another week in the Big 12. And be sure to tune in next week to ABC Saturday Night Football, presented by Windows 8 at 8 Eastern. Tremendous matchup, number 5 Notre Dame and number 9 Oklahoma. Now for Chris Spielman.